Chapter 4697. As Duan Yantian said, this matter is beneficial to both Shingon and Xueqi. It doesn't hurt to give it a try. If they really get it right, for them, it is a favor from a strong man in the Hadao realm. They had never dreamed of such an outrageous good thing in the past. After the decision was made through the communication, Shengen looked at Duan Yantian. His face softened a lot. Yantian, I will personally go to Jianglan Divine Kingdom to confirm this matter. If what you said is true, I will make your father the first time comes to save you get out. You also know that even if Xueqi and I believe you, we don't dare to save you. After all, behind Miss Gua is Deputy Alliance Leader Gua. Although we are also elders of the Chongshan Alliance and seem to have a high status, our value to the Chongshan Alliance is not as valuable as one of Deputy Leader Gua's fingers if we are tied together. Even regardless of this, in terms of strength, together they are far from the opponent of Deputy Alliance Leader Gua. So, you have to understand us. As soon as Shengen finished speaking, Duan Yantian hadn't spoken yet. Xueqi also echoed from the side, and his attitude towards Duan Yantian also changed. If this is really the son of a strong man in the Hadao realm, then that is, they need to flatter and support its existence must not be neglected. Even if it's not completely confirmed yet, it's impossible for him to treat the other party as seriously as he did in the past. My lords, I understand. It was not difficult for Duan Yantian to guess what the two of them were thinking, but they still needed their help now, so he said it very politely. At this moment, he also saw the light of escape. At the same time, something moved in his mind. Mother should be with father. I just don't know if father has found Xiling and the others. At this thought, he couldn't help but sigh secretly. Since he wandered into the world of gods and lands decades ago, he has been alone. Although he had companions by his side when he was wandering around in the Outer Land, before the collapse of the Outer Land, he happened to be alone, so that he and his companions they didn't live together somewhere in the world of gods. Over the years, in this world of gods and earth, although his life is not worse than life, it is also extremely boring and helpless. It is completely different from the past when he was in Wanjie and the land outside the world. How many times he was in a daze, thinking about the good life in the past. However, all of that before today had become a mirror in his eyes, hard to reach and a luxury. But today, after learning that the new Hadao powerhouse in Jianglan Divine Kingdom was his father Duan Ling Tian, he realized that everything he enjoyed in the past might not be able to come back. His father was not only the top strong man who could protect him in the world of the world and the world outside the world in the past, but now he was also the ceiling that could protect him in the world of gods and earth. Now, just wait for Shengen to go to Jianglan Divine Kingdom to confirm my identity. Duan Yantian was not worried about this, because he never lied or felt guilty at all. In the next period of time, Duan Yantian lived a much more comfortable life on this isolated island, because Xueqi secretly took care of him, so that he would not be treated like a donkey like in the past. The reason why it was secretly was because before it was confirmed that Duan Yantian was the son of a strong man in the Hadao realm, Xueqi did not dare to offend Miss Gua because of Duan Yantian. In this isolated island, there is also Miss Gua's spy. However, it was difficult for others to detect Xueqing's little tricks, but Yu Chong, who had the best relationship with Duan Yantian and had long noticed that Xueqi often deliberately made things difficult for Duan Yantian in the past, realized something was wrong. Yantian, Xueqi is. No, are you in a good mood? I don't even call you around like I used to. Probably. Duan Yantian was stunned for a moment, then nodded. Regarding the fact that his father is a new member of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, he has no plans to tell the other party for the time being, because telling the other party is useless except to show off, and if the other party really betrays his trust, Guilili will know in advance. Xiao, this is not a good thing for him. It's really weird. Then Xueqi, what good thing happened to him? Yu Chong was very curious about this, but after racking his brains, he couldn't figure out what good thing happened to the other party. It was rare that he didn't continue to target Duan Yantian. At the same time, after Shengon went out to finish his own affairs, he continued to move forward, aiming directly at the location of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. After all, she was a first-level Taoist realm. After a while, she finally entered the territory of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and immediately found out the whereabouts of Duan Ling Tian, the newly promoted Hadao powerhouse of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Duan Mansion. Then, of course, he asked to see Duan Ling Tian and frankly told him that there was news about Duan Lingshan's son, Duan Yantian. Duan Yantian? Now, although there are no relatives or friends of Duan Ling Tian among the remaining people in the Duan Mansion, there are still some people who know the existence of Duan Yantian. After getting the news, some people immediately went to find the old man Qingyun, Xueqi. He was also the strongest 7th-level powerhouse of the Qingyun holy sect in the land outside the world in the past. Before Duan Lingtian left last time, he had approached Xueqi and asked him to help take care of the remaining people in the Duan family. Does anyone know the news about Duan Yantian, the son of brother Lingtian? Xueqi naturally knew that the son of brother Lingtian had not been found yet. Now that someone came to the door and said that he had news about the other party, he naturally did not dare to neglect and quickly said, "Put down what you were doing for a while and go to Duan Mansion." Now, he also knows that the new Hadao of Jianglan Divine Kingdom is Duan Lingtian. When I first found out about it, I was naturally extremely shocked. Apart from being shocked, I was also happy for Duan Lingtian, and even felt confident in my heart. I felt that in the lives of those who came out of the creation life chart world, there was finally someone comparable to the divine soil. The existence of the top group of strong men in the world. Moreover, he has been tied to Duan Lingtian for a long time. Duan Lingtian is stronger and he can live a more prosperous life in the world of gods and earth. Do you really have news about Duan Yantian, the son of my brother Lingtian? After seeing the person coming, Xueqi asked straight to the point. At the same time, his spiritual consciousness unfolded, and his aura swept out, oppressing the other person's body, making him tremble, and his eyes were dead. Staring at the opponent's face, wanting to confirm whether the other party is lying through their micro-expressions. So strong. Shang'an was shocked in his heart. At the same time, he felt as if his whole body was about to fall apart. He realized that the person in front of him was definitely above the 4th level of the Tao, so he quickly begged for mercy. "My lord, please put away your spirit. Knowledge, if Duan Lingtian, if your excellency really has a son named Duan Yantian, I do know where he is now." But he didn't know that Xueqi was not a 4th-level Daoist, but a 7th-level Daoist. Where is he? Xueqi's eyes lit up, and at the same time he stopped pressing the other party and asked bluntly. After learning about Duan Yantian's current situation from Shang'an, Xueqi's face darkened and his eyes shone with coldness. "My lord, please convey this matter to Lord Duan Lingtian." Shang'an continued. Although the strength of the person in front of him is not weak, not even under the leader of their Chongshan alliance, the target of his trip is the newly promoted Hadao strongman, not the other party. The other party's favor is not in the Hadao realm. The favor of a strong person is of high value. Chapter 4698. Brother Lingtian has gone away on business and won't be back for a while. Xueqi glanced at the other party and said impatiently, "You can tell me the same thing about this matter. Don't worry if this matter is done. As long as you can help me bring back my Yantian nephew, I, Xueqi, will never treat you badly." Xueqi, although my strength is far inferior to that of brother Lingtian, I am also at the 7th level of Taoism. At this time, after hearing Xueqi's words, Shang'an finally came to his senses. Brother Lingtian? The man in front of him seems to have called Duan Lingtian, the powerful Hadao man, brother Lingtian from the very beginning. This shows that the relationship between the two is extraordinary. Moreover, the opponent turned out to be a being on the 7th level of the Tao, much stronger than he imagined. Such an existence is far inferior to even the leader of their Chongshan alliance. Shang'an took a deep breath, looked at Xueqi with a careful smile and said, "Sir Xueqi, if you bring Master Yantian back, I hope you can say a few nice words for me in front of Master Duan Lingtian in the future, and tell him that his name is Shengon, and he is an elder of the Chongshan League in the Dark Night Forest in the eastern region of Shaoshan Island." After confirming that what Duan Yantian said was true, Shengon also called Duan Yantian Master Yantian, and seemed to be very familiar with him. Hearing Shang'an's words, Xueqi took a deep look at Shang'an and finally came to his senses. This is his plan to ask for favors from his brother Lingtian. He smiled calmly and said, "Brother Shengon, don't worry about this. If you can help my nephew Yantian return home, let alone my brother Lingtian, I won't treat you badly. Even I won't treat you badly. You know, my nephew Yantian is the only son of brother Lingtian. You should know what he means to my brother Lingtian. It can be said that even if you make demands of me, as long as I can do my best, I will never treat you badly." As soon as Xueqi said these words, Shang'an was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that Duan Yantian was the only son of the newly promoted Hadao strongman. It seemed that he had made a lot of money this time. He didn't expect that he just came to confirm with the idea of "try it," which verified the truth of what Duan Yentian said. At the same time, he thought of the eldest lady of the Gua family who had imprisoned Duan Yentian on that isolated island. This time, not only will Gua Lily be in trouble, but also our Chongshan League's deputy leader Gua Qiu, and even the entire the Gua family will probably be in trouble too. As for betraying his deputy leader, Shingon didn't feel any psychological pressure at all. Because he knew that even if the alliance leader knew about this, the alliance leader would not be unhappy. After all, he was the one who saved the Chongshan alliance. If the powerful Hadao men came to the door on their own, would the Chongshan alliance still exist? As the leader of the Chongshan alliance, can he still survive? When the time comes, the alliance leader will definitely be very grateful to him. Coupled with the care of the 7th level Taoist in front of him and the favor of the Hadao level powerhouse, Shingon will reach the pinnacle of his life from now on. Master Zhao Ani, when is it convenient for you to come with me? Shang'an asked. Zhao Ani pondered for a moment and said, I will go to the royal family first to say hello to someone, and then I will come back and set off with you. There is no way. Now he is not only taking care of the people in Duan Mansion, but also his own people. There are many people here who need his care. When he leaves temporarily, he must say hello to the royal family and ask them to take care of them. His own people and the people of Duan Mansion. With the friendship between his Ling Tian brother and the powerful royal family, it was impossible for the powerful royal family to refuse this. Zhao Ani went to the royal family. After saying hello, he asked directly if he wanted the royal family to send a strong person to accompany him. In the end, for the sake of safety along the way, Zhao Ani was accompanied by a 7-level strongman from the royal family and went with him to the remote Shaoshan Island. When Shang'an listened to Zhao Enya's introduction to the new faces around him, he was not too shocked. After all, he was also the son of a newly promoted Hadao strongman from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. It was very reasonable for the royal family to send a strong man to accompany him to pick him up. In this way, Shang'an took Zhao Ani back to Shaoshan Island. On the way, Shang'an also told Zhao Ani truthfully what happened to Duan Yentian there. Before Zhao Ani could speak, the strong man from the royal family was already numb and took a breath of cold air. He didn't expect that there would be someone who could seek death to that extent. Even the only son of a strong man in the Tao realm would dare to provoke him like that. Waiting place step. It is simply asking for death. Zhao Enya's face turned completely gloomy, his eyes flashed with murderous intent, and he had already sentenced the Gua family father and daughter to death in his heart. Zhao Ani led Shang'an along the way, so the same journey took Shang'an a long time to go to Jianglan Divine Kingdom, but it didn't take long to go back. Lord Zhao Ani, in front of you is Shaoshan Divine Island. Shaoshan Divine Island, there used to be a strong Hadao master, but that strong Hadao passed away 3,000 years ago. Now the strongest ones on Shaoshan Divine Island are 2-bit in the existence of the 9 levels of the Tao. When he was about to arrive at Shaoshan Divine Island, Shang'an introduced to Zhao Ani. Our Chongshan Alliance is just an ordinary force in the Dark Night Forest in the eastern region of Shaoshan Divine Island. The strongest leader is a being who has entered the 4th level of Taoism. As for the deputy alliance leader Gua Qiu, he has only entered the 3rd level of Taoism. Soon, Shingon took Zhao Ani directly to an isolated island near the Dark Night Forest on the coast. It was also a mining area occupied by the Chongshan League, and Duan Yentian was inside. Xueqi saw Shang'an bringing someone back, and the two people around Shang'an gave him a feeling of extreme danger. He didn't even need Shang'an to tell him. He had already guessed that what Duan Yentian said was true, and it was indeed that Zhonglan God the son of Guaxin Hadao. Xueqi, take the 2 adults to see Master Yentian, Shang'an urged. At the same time, the voice message reminded, these 2 are both strong men who have entered the 7th level. Entering the 7th floor. Hearing this, Shang'an's heart trembled. With such a presence, looking at the entire Shaoshan Island, he was considered a giant. 2 adults, please come this way. Xueqi did not dare to neglect and quickly took the 2 of them to find Duan Yentian. Yentian, do you still remember me? Zhao Ani had met Duan Yentian before. Although he only met him once, he remembered him in his heart. Now he saw this man who was somewhat similar to his Ling Tian brother again. Little guy. Of course he recognized the right person at a glance square. You are Uncle Zhao. Duan Yentian naturally remembers Zhao Ani. After all, this was the most powerful 7th level powerhouse of the Qingyun holy sect in the land outside the world. Haha, it's me. Zhao Ani laughed. Don't worry, You are completely safe from now on. Uncle Zhao will take you home. As soon as these words came out, Duan Yentian looked excited and felt that his waist was completely straightened. Chapter 4699. Since Yu Luaha, the new owner of the creation chart, was indirectly rescued by Chen Mingho of the Wanshanchen family, Duan Lingtian followed the attraction of the creation chart to him and chased Yu Luaha several times. However, at every critical moment, Chen Mingho would take action to seize the combined power of infinite sword Dao, greatly reducing his strength, allowing Yu Luaha to escape again and again. Even the most recent time, Yu Luaha the injury further recovered. Under Chen Mingho's tricks, Yu Luaha did not even choose to escape. Instead, he stayed and fought with him fiercely. In the end, it ended in a draw, and Yu Luaha also, after confirming that he couldn't take down Duan Lingtian, he laughed arrogantly and walked away. Duan Lingtian, I advise you not to mess with me again. Otherwise, when I recover further from my injury next time, and with Chen Mingho's help from across the air, you will be doomed to be disgraced when you fight me. This time, Yu Luaha was very arrogant when he left, as if he was eager for Duan Lingtian to find him again. Duan Lingshan's face was naturally very ugly, because he knew that although the other party's words were unpleasant, they were true. The recent battles also made him realize that Yu Luaha's injuries were constantly recovering, and now he had recovered to the point where he could draw a tie with him who was beaten by Chen Mingho's. Next time, as Yu Luaha recovers further from his injury, he will most likely be at a disadvantage if he continues to be overtaken by Chen Mingho. Watching Yu Luohe leave, Duan Lingtian did not pursue him because he knew that it would be useless to pursue him, and at most he would end up in a draw. Although I felt aggrieved and angry, there was nothing I could do about it. Chen Mingho. After coming to the world of gods and earth for nearly 100 years, Duan Lingtian felt unforgettable hatred for a person for the first time. The murderous intent in his eyes was hard to hide. This account, one day, I, Duan Lingtian, will make a good settlement with you Ichiban. In a flash, Duan Lingtian had disappeared from the spot. At the same time in the distant Wanshanchen clan, Chen Mingho, who was fighting for the way, confirmed that Duan Lingtian did not continue to use the infinite power of swordsmanship, and then stopped, with a sinister smile on his lips. Duan Lingtian, as long as I, Chen Mingho, are here, you can't even think about using the combined power of infinite sword Dao to your heart's content. At some point, an old figure appeared. He glanced at Chen Mingho and shook his head. If you do this, you will not only treat the symptoms but not the root cause. Even for you, you will kill 1,000 enemies and lose 800 to yourself. Today, you can steal Ling Tian's combined power. In the future, when you fight with others, he can also steal the power and affect you. The person coming is none other than the being of the Wanshanchen family who combines the three realms, Chen Zhouxiao. Grandpa, you don't have to persuade me on this matter. Chen Mingho shook his head and said, if I don't do this, my thoughts will not be clear, and it will be difficult to comprehend the third path to the 9th level, let alone combine the third path. Furthermore, Duan Lingtian came out of the world of creation and life, and is helpless in the world of gods and earth. He can only rely on himself for everything. If he is overtaken by me, he will definitely feel more frustrated than if I am overtaken by him. After all, I still have my grandfather as my backer. With you here, Grandpa, who dares to bully me? After talking about it, a look of pride appeared on Chen Mingho's face at the right time. Seeing this, Chen Zhouxiao said no more. When the news of Duan Lingshan's promotion to Hadao spread throughout most of the world of gods and earth, people who had a grudge against him from the original birth chart also received news one after another. Duan Lingtian was promoted to Hadao? During the recent period, although Lei Hong was still in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, he had been in seclusion and ignored what was going on outside the window. It was not until he left seclusion today that he heard that Duan Lingtian had been promoted to the Hadao realm a year ago. For a moment, his expression turned completely gloomy. Although he was no match for Duan Lingtian when he created the Lifepan world, and was even almost killed by Duan Lingtian, and wasted his life-saving means, this did not affect his hatred for Duan Lingtian at all. He was not afraid of the other party, and even dreamed of taking revenge on Duan Lingtian in various ways. This was also the reason why he wanted to take action against Duan Mansion last time when Duan Lingtian was not in Duan Mansion. He knew that he was hardly Duan Lingshan's opponent and could only seek revenge in this way. Although he has always known in his heart that with Duan Lingshan's heaven-defying talent, even if they were exiled to the world of gods and earth together, it would be difficult for him to catch up with him. However, It did not mean that he did not want to chase him, close the distance with him, or even as for catching up with each other one day in the future. The world of Divine Land is huge, with many opportunities and adventures beyond ordinary people's imagination. Maybe one day he will get lucky and catch up with Duan Lingtian or even surpass Duan Lingtian by chance. But now, after learning that Duan Lingtian was promoted to Hadao, he felt despair deep in his heart. He felt that it was almost impossible for him to catch up with Duan Lingtian in this life. Under such circumstances, it is naturally impossible for him to be in a good mood. Therefore, Lei Hong found a restaurant and kept pouring himself alcohol, making himself like a drunkard. He drank for several days and nights before stopping. Finally, when he sobered up, he began to warn himself. From now on, unless you are completely sure, you cannot easily touch the people around Duan Lingtian. After all, Duan Lingtian is not what he used to be, and there may be some tricks left that can cause him to capsize in the gutter. Revenge must still be avenged. However, you need to be more cautious. Not only was Lei Hong depressed about Duan Lingshan's breakthrough, but also Yun Xinfeng, who was somewhere in the Divine Land world far away from Jianglan Divine Kingdom, was also the former Yun Qingyan. After learning that Duan Lingtian was promoted to Hadao, my face is also difficult look beyond compare. His luck is pretty good. After coming to the world of gods and earth, he has encountered many adventures, and now he has entered the 4th level of the Dao. Under this situation, he felt that the distance between him and Duan Lingtian was getting closer and closer, and he might not have the chance to kill Duan Lingtian with his own hands. After all, before this, he, who was outside the boundary, never dared to dream that he would still be able to kill Duan Lingtian. I can kill Duan Lingtian with my own hands because the gap is too big, and there is a forbidden calamity blocking the way. Even if an ordinary person can break through to the strongest level, at the 6th level, it is also difficult to enter the 7th level. After coming to the Divine Land world, he felt like a fish in water, and even felt that this was his blessed land. More than once, he has dreamed of coming to seek revenge on Duan Lingtian in person, trampling Duan Lingtian under his feet again, recreating the scenes when he trampled Duan Lingtian under his feet when he went to that secular plane. Even after stepping on it, he will not let Duan Lingtian go like he did in the past. This time he will kill Duan Lingtian completely to avoid future troubles. He still regretted the thought he had made at that time, raising a tiger for trouble, and he still regretted it when he thought about it. He wished he could be reborn and go back to that moment, where he killed Duan Lingtian completely regardless of his cousin Xia Ningxi's dissuasion. Now, after learning that Duan Lingtian had broken through and been promoted to the Hadao realm, Yun Xinfeng collapsed on the ground with a look of despair and helplessness on his face, and the confidence he had finally built collapsed. How to pursue this? Duan Lingtian has now been promoted to Hadao, and has become one of the dozens of most powerful people in the world of gods and earth. Even if he has a chance to become a strong man in the Hadao realm in the future, it is unrealistic to catch up with Duan Lingtian and want to kill him. Moreover, he really has no confidence that he can succeed in Hadao and enter Hadao in his lifetime. Hadao is so difficult. Chapter 4700. Whether it was Lei Hong or Yun Xinfeng, Duan Lingtian naturally didn't know what they were thinking right now. Of course, the current Duan Lingtian has not noticed these two people for a long time. At most, he is a little defensive in his heart to avoid being taken advantage of by the other party to steal his home and hurt his relatives and friends. Although he has now become a strong man in the Hadao realm, he is too busy to take care of his family and friends at all times. The world of divine earth, unlike the world of creation and destiny, has the power of laws, which can condense the clones of laws. At first, when the world of creation and destiny collapsed and fell into the world of gods and earth, Duan Lingshan's clone of laws was annihilated and disappeared. Unless you can return to the creation life chart world again and sense the power of the law, you cannot condense the law clone again. Go back first. Duan Lingtian, who did not intend to continue chasing Yu Luaha, chose to go back to his wife's parents. After confirming that they were all safe and sound, he returned to Jianglan Divine Kingdom alone. Is there any news about Niantian? After learning from the royal family of Jianglan Kingdom that someone knew about his son Duan Niantian, and that Zhao Ani had brought a royal family to the 7th level to pick up his son, Duan Lingshan's eyes brightened, and he also told Zhang Hai Shandao said thanks. Jiang Tianjing, the powerful Taoist in the royal family, hardly cares about anything. Except for the contemporary emperor, the person in charge of the royal family is Jiang Haishan, who is on the 9th level of Taoism. Looking at the entire Shaoshan Divine Island, the Chongshan Alliance is just an insignificant small force. The Dark Night Forest, which is located in the coastal corner of the eastern region, cannot even be ranked among the top 3 among the many forces in the Dark Night Forest. If we say that the strongest force in Shaoshan Island is none other than the Shaoshan Dao sect, just by looking at the name, you can tell that this sect has the same name as Shaoshan Divine Island. In fact, the reason why Shaoshan Divine Island was renamed Shaoshan Divine Island was because of Shaoshan Dao sect. The Shaoshan Dao sect may not be the oldest force on the Shaoshan Island, but it is definitely the most powerful force. Just because, in the history of Shaoshan Dao sect, there have been 3 strong men in the He Dao realm. Even the last strong man in the Hadao realm on Shaoshan Island came from the Shaoshan Dao sect. Although there are no powerful people in the Hadao realm in the contemporary Shaoshan Dao sect, there are as many as 3 people who have entered the 9th level of the Dao. As for the 8th level of the Dao, there are more than 10 people. Of course, most of them are traveling outside to seek breakthroughs. Only 1 who has entered the 9th level and 3 who have entered the 8th level stay in the Shaoshan Dao sect. One of them who entered the 8th level of Taoism was named Yang Tianhe, and he was the great elder of Shaoshan Taoism. Now, he was frowning and looking at his son in front of him. Do you really want to marry her? With her status and background, she is not worthy of being your Taoist companion. Yang Tianhe looks like a middle-aged man, with a resolute face, tall body, and a hint of majesty in his movements. And his son Yang Chun, whose facial features are quite similar to his, has a hint of immaturity between his eyebrows. At this time, he is looking at Yang Tianhe seriously. Father, Yao Yao and I are love. Yang Tianhe smiled coldly. In my opinion, she has taken a fancy to your background, right? The person you love her may not necessarily be the one she loves. Yang Tianhe had many children in his life, but the one he loved most was the young son in front of him. His love for this young son even made other sons doubt whether they were his biological children. Father, Yao Yao doesn't know my identity, Yang Chun said seriously. Even in front of her, I only showed the same level of cultivation as hers. Moreover, our meeting was purely a coincidence. Before Yang Tianhe could speak, Yang Chun begged. Father, please help the child. With your status, you don't need the child to marry anyone. Just let the child be with true love. Seeing this, Yang Tian's frown deepened, but he didn't say anything more and said calmly. Now, as a father, I am curious, what kind of woman is it that makes you obsessed with this? Take me with you. If your father thinks she's okay, then he can propose marriage to his family and choose a good day for you to marry her. Hearing this, Yang Chun was ecstatic. Thank you, father. Thank you, father. Yao Yao will definitely satisfy you. Let's go. Yang Tianhe stepped out, and in a blink of an eye he was already thousands of miles away from Shaoshan Dao sect, and his son was also taken with him. You said before that her home is in the East region? Yes, father. Yang Chun responded quickly. She is the second daughter of Xueqi, the deputy leader of the Dark Night Forest Chongshan Alliance in the Eastern region. Her name is Gua Yao Yao, and she has an older sister. It's a coincidence. When Yang Tianhe and Yang Chun, father and son, arrived at the Chongshan League and near the Gua Mansion, it happened that Sheng'an was leading the way to the Gua Mansion for Zhaoani, Duan Yentian and the 7th-level powerhouse from the royal family of the Zhonglan Divine Kingdom to arrive at the Gua Mansion, and Zhaoani said Ru Hongzhong shouted coldly, Guoqiu, take your daughter and get out and die. Zhao Enya's voice, carrying terrifying power, vibrating and giving, swept through the Gua Mansion, making the entire Gua Mansion restless, and more than 90% of the people were in a state of panic. He was so shaken by the sound that he felt dizzy, and even had bleeding from all his orifices. He fell directly to the ground and died. After a moment, a pale-faced man with a beard came out of the air and looked at Zhao Ani in the distance. His eyes were full of fear, but he still had the courage to raise his hands and asked, My lord, I don't know how my daughter and I were offended you? Although Duan Yentian was standing next to Zhao Ani, Guoqiu did not know Duan Yentian because the two had never met before. Duan Yentian. However, at this moment, Gua Lily, a young woman with a good face and a slightly fat body, who was in the Gua Mansion, was pale and staring at Zhao Ani with shock and disbelief. Duan Yentian said, Why? Could it be him? Where did he find such a strong person? Is this your revenge on me? At this moment, Gua Lily's heart was full of regret. If she had known that this thought could lead to today's scene, she should have directly destroyed the opponent and eradicated it. Sister, do you know him? Next to Gua Lily was another beautiful woman who looked very similar to her, much prettier than her, and had a much stronger figure. Her face was also slightly pale at this time. The sound just now was so terrifying that it shocked her eardrums were ruptured, and her meridians were almost disrupted while she was practicing. She is none other than Guoqiu's second daughter, Gua Yaoyao. Yaoyao. At this time Yang Chun, who had just arrived, also saw Gua Yaoyao. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he said to Yang Tianhe beside him, "Father, that is the person I like, Gua Yaoyao. It's better to come early than to come by chance. Now someone happens to be looking for trouble for my future father-in-law and future sister-in-law. Father, please come out to protect them. In this way, they will definitely treat me as my future uncle in a different light." Chapter 4701. However, unlike his son Yang Chun's innocence, when Yang Tianhe looked at the person who was attacking the Gua family not far away, his eyes showed a bit of solemnity. This old man, and another middle-aged man beside him, stood there with their consciousness exposed. It was not difficult for him to confirm that both of them were 7th-level Daob existences. Although they were weaker than him, they had this level of cultivation, definitely not ordinary people at least. There is no existence of this level in the Eastern Dark Night Forest. In other words, these two people came from outside the Dark Night Forest. "Shut up!" Yang Tianhe scolded his son Yang Chun. "You idiot, what else can you think of besides women? Two 7th-level Taoists came to the Gua family to cause trouble. There must be a reason. You can't even connect these two people. I don't even know his background, so I just thought it's so stupid to show off in front of that woman." Two people entering the 7th level? Yang Chun was frightened when he heard his father's words. He never expected that the people who came to the Gua family to cause trouble this time were actually two beings who had entered the 7th level. They were powerful beings second only to his father. Killing him would be as easy as trampling an ant to death. The other side. After learning the ins and outs of the matter from Duan Yentian, Guoqiu's face turned pale. He never expected that his daughter would provoke someone with such a background. He actually didn't know about this. It was all done by his daughter alone. Two adults, this young master, Guoqiu, did not know about this matter. It was all done by my daughter Gua Lily. I will bring her here and hand her over to you. After Guoqiu finished speaking, he hurriedly brought his daughter Gua Lily over, and Gua Yaoyao also followed. Guoqiu had many sons, but only 2 daughters, so he loved his 2 daughters the most. However, now that the eldest daughter has caused a huge disaster, he knows full well that he cannot save her. Rather than die together, it is better to send the eldest daughter out and hand it over to the other party, so that he may still be able to survive. "Father, what are you doing?" Gua Lily's face changed drastically, and her eyes looking at Duan Yentian were also filled with fear. If she had known that Duan Yentian had this background, she would not have dared to provoke him even if she was killed. Even if he provoked him, he would have definitely eradicated it long ago, so that the other party would not come to settle the score today. Just now, before her father Guoqiu left, he had told her that the people who came were so powerful that they were even far superior to the leader of their Chongshan alliance. What does that mean? It means that the person coming is at least on the 5th level. If you have done something wrong, take responsibility for it yourself and don't involve your family. A hint of unbearability flashed deep in Guoqiu's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by determination, and he gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice. When Gua Lily heard this, her pretty face turned pale, and her whole body trembled violently. Then she looked at Gua Yaoyao beside her and begged, "Yaoyao, please save your sister, you must save your sister. Didn't you tell me before that you were here?" The prospective Taoist companion found outside. Is he the son of the great elder of Shaoshan Taoist sect? The great elder of Shaoshan Dao sect is a person who has entered the 8th level of Taoism. Gua Yaoyao looked helpless. So what if her would-be Taoist companion had a background in the Shaoshan Taoist sect? No one is here. Moreover, the matter between the two of them may not be settled yet, and the other party's father still needs to make a decision. She herself felt that this matter might not be possible, because beings at that level would definitely value a good match. He and the other party's son may fall in love freely, and the other party may not support it. If not, she has no doubt about the other party's love. A son will choose his father, not him. This is the truth. In this world where the strong are respected, love between men and women is not worth mentioning in the face of a powerful backer. Snort. At this time, Yang Tianhe in the distance heard Gua Lily's words and couldn't help but glare at his son beside him. Didn't you say that Gua Yaoyao doesn't know your identity? Her sister clearly revealed your identity. Yang Chun was startled at first, then smiled awkwardly. Father, I told her later. She didn't know my identity and background when she first started dating me. At this moment, Guo Yaoyao in the distance was looking around anxiously, and suddenly she spotted Yang Chun. Her eyes brightened for a moment. Brother Chun. This time, Yang Chun couldn't pretend not to be there anymore. After saying hello to his father, Yukong approached. Yang Tianhe frowned slightly, fearing that his son would suffer a loss, so he followed him. Guo Lily, who was already in despair, couldn't help but look into the distance after hearing her sister's exclamation. When she saw the two people coming from the sky, a glimmer of light rose in the depths of her eyes, as if she had caught someone. Got the last one to save life? Straw asked. Is it my sister's quasi-Taoist companion, Yang Chun? The son of the great elder of Shaoshan Dao sect? The person behind him is his protector? At the same time, Guo Qiu was also attracted by Yang Tianhe and Yang Chun, father and son. His second daughter found a quasi-Taoist companion outside with a different background. He knew about this, but he was not too excited because he knew that the other party's father might not like their family. There is a high probability that this will not happen. Yao Yao, this is my father. After Yang Chun came over, he introduced Guo Yao Yao and Yang Tianhe. Father, this is the Yao Yao I told you. I've met my uncle. While Guo Yao Yao's heart trembled, a light shone in her eyes, and she quickly saluted Yang Tianhe. Guo Qiu was also frightened, and quickly bowed and saluted. Guo Qiu, deputy leader of the Chongshan Alliance, has met Elder Yang. The famous existence was one that he could hardly see in the past. Even if he saw it, he would not dare to face it easily. The existence of vision. Guo Lily's face turned red with surprise. Not only her brother-in-law-to-be was here, but her father was also here? This is a super strong person who has entered the 8th level. She can be saved. She can be saved. For a moment, Guo Lily looked at Duan Yentian again. She was no longer frightened, but looked a little more joking. Her mood was ups and downs like a roller coaster. Now she sent a voice to challenge. Duan Yentian, even if you find me. So what if I have a backer? Is your backer as strong as mine? Do you know who is coming now? My soon-to-be brother-in-law and his father. His father is the great elder of the Shaoshan Dao sect, the #1 force in our Shaoshan Divine Island, and a super strong man who has entered the 8th level of Taoism. Hearing what the other party said, Duan Yentian couldn't help but frown. Entering the 8th floor? This is much better than Uncle Zhao and the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom around him. If the two of them join forces, they may not be the opponent of the other. As for his father, although he is a strong man in Hadao, he is not present after all, so he may not be able to suppress the opponent just by his name. Chapter 4702. Brother Chun, our family is in trouble. You must help me. Guo Yaoyao did not dare to say this in front of Yang Tianhe, so she could only say to Yang Chun via voice. Since I was a child, my sister has taken great care of and loved me. I can't watch anything happen to her. Please, Brother Chun. Faced with Guo Yaoyao's pleading, Yang Chun had no resistance at all. He quickly begged his father to try to help Guo Yaoyao to see if he could save his sister. Although there are very powerful forces behind these two 7th-level Taoists, as long as the forces behind them are within the Shaoshan Island, they are still within the controllable range, because their Shaoshan Dao sect is the most powerful force on the Shaoshan Island. A strong force. He believed that as long as these two people were from Shaoshan Island, it would be easy for his father to ask for face. Yang Tianhe frowned. He really didn't want to get into this muddy water, but now his son was begging via voice, and it was for a woman. As a father, he really couldn't bear to break his son's heart. After all, this is his most beloved son. Both of you. Yang Tianhe finally stood up, looked at Zhaoani and the powerful Taoist from the royal family of Jianglan Kingdom beside Zhaoani, slightly raised his hands and said, I am the great elder of Shaoshan Dao sect, Yang Tianhe. How about you guys give me some face in this matter and reconcile with each other? As long as she lives, I, Yang Tianhe, owe you both a favor. When Yang Tianhe said this, although his tone was gentle, the consciousness of the 8th level of Taoism still swept out, faintly covering it up. The purpose of the spiritual consciousness that Zhaoani and the two released was naturally to let Zhaoani and the two know his strength. Enter the 8th level. Zhaoani frowned slightly. However, the 7th-level Taoist master from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom royal family next to Zhaoani sneered. Yang Tianhe, the great elder of Shaoshan Taoist sect? Do you know whose son is the young master Duan Yentian next to me? Seeing that the other party was still so strong after knowing his own strength, Yang Tianhe was inexplicably shocked and at the same time subconsciously looked at Duan Yentian. Before Yang Tianhe could ask, the powerful royal family member of Jianglan Divine Kingdom sneered. This young master Duan Yentian is the son of our Jianglan Divine Kingdom's newly promoted Hadao strongman, Mr. Duan Ling Tian. And I am a member of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. I am here on the orders of the powerful Hadao master of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Lord Jiang Tianjing, to welcome young master Duan Yentian back to Jianglan Divine Kingdom. When he said the first sentence, Yang Tian's expression actually changed drastically in an instant. Guo, who originally thought his daughter was saved, turned pale. Duan Ling Tian, the new Hadao powerhouse in Jianglan Divine Kingdom? To be honest, he just heard about this some time ago and knew that there was a new Hadao strongman from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, known as the Reverse Divine Sword, and his full name was Duan Ling Tian. No wonder when he heard Duan Nianshan's name just now, he felt that it sounded familiar. Duan Yentian was Duan Lingshan's son. It's over. Guo knew that his eldest daughter Guo was dead. Let alone the great elder of the Shaoshan Dao sect. Even if the Shaoshan Dao sect devoted all its efforts, they might not be able to save her. Now, he felt panic again. He only hoped that the other party would only kill his daughter and not involve himself in the Guo mansion. Hadao strongman? Guo Yaoyao's pretty face changed, and Yang Chun on the side also looked panicked. She never expected that this matter would involve a strong Hadao man, and he was also the new Hadao from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. He had also heard of the new Hadao from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, until he was an evil genius who came from the Creation Life Plan world and was extremely talented. It is said that the other party only entered the 8th level of the Tao when he first arrived in their world of gods and earth decades ago. In less than 100 years, he entered the Hadao realm. Many people think that as long as he doesn't die young, he will definitely be able to join the third path and become the top powerhouse in the world of gods and earth before he dies. Of course. At this time, the powerful royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom stared at Yang Tianhe and continued. You, Yang Tianhe, can also choose to take action against us. But, let alone you may not be able to keep both of us at the same time, even if can you really keep us and destroy the corpses? Miaji, can you still kill everyone in Guo Mansion? As long as one person from Guo Mansion survives, what you did will be exposed. After all, the opportunity to tip off a powerful Hadao person and win their favor is something you don't come across all the time. After talking about it, he took another deep look at Yang Tianhe, and the warning in his eyes was clearly visible. In fact, even if he didn't say it, Yang Tianhe knew this very well. Thinking of the news about the new Hadao that came from Jianglan Divine Kingdom some time ago, Yang Tianhe quickly raised his hand and brought his son Yang Chun to him in a blink of an eye. Then he cupped his hands to Duan Yentian with an apologetic expression. Master Duan, I didn't know that you were the son of Master Duan Ling Tian before. I have offended you so much. I hope you can forgive me. I, Yang Tianhe and his son, will not interfere in today's matter again. How you want to deal with this Guo mansion is up to you. Even if you need me to help, you can just say hello. Yang Tianhe is very self-aware. Although his Shaoshan Dao sect can also ask the Hadao realm experts to take action, after all, he is not a Hadao realm powerhouse in his own sect, so it is impossible for him to spare no effort for Shaoshan Dao sect. Moreover, even if there is a strong person in the Hadao realm in the contemporary Shaoshan Dao sect, it is unlikely that he would offend another strong person in the Hadao realm for his private affairs. Therefore, after learning that Duan Yentian was a strong man in the Hadao realm, he gave in and didn't feel ashamed at all. Naturally, Duan Yentian and the other three were very satisfied with Yang Tian's statement that those who know the current affairs are heroes. As for the Guo family, Guo Yaoyao's pretty face was pale. She thought she could help her sister Guo Lily, but she didn't expect that the person her sister provoked turned out to be the son of a strong man in the Hadao realm. Isn't this seeking death? At this moment, she felt completely powerless inside, knowing that there was no hope of saving her sister. As for Yang Chun's father Yang Tian's changing face, she didn't complain at all, because even if she put herself in the other person's shoes, she would make the same choice. I hope it won't involve me. Thinking of this, Guo Yaoyao quickly looked at Yang Chun again and said through a message, Brother Chun, not only have I not participated in what my sister did, I don't even know about it. Please ask my uncle to help me so that they will not vent their anger on you. Hearing this, Yang Chun looked at his father, only to find that his father's face was more solemn than ever. This was the first time he had seen his father like this since he was a child. For a moment, Yang Chun was silent. Chapter 4703. Although Yang Chun likes Gua Yaoyao and is willing to do something for her, it does not mean that he will pay for her without thinking. As for what happened today, if the other party really wants the Gua family to die in one piece, he really wants to his father intervened again, not to mention that his father might not be willing. Even if he was willing, he didn't want his father to offend a strong man in Hadao. That's a strong man. There is no such thing as Shaoshan Daozong in contemporary times. According to what his father said to him in the past, if the powerful Hadao really wants to take action against Shaoshan Dao sect, even if all the 8th level and 9th level Taoists who left Shaoshan Tao sect come back, it will still be of no avail and they will still not be able to escape being captured. The ending where he kills him. Therefore, now that he received a message from Gua Yaoyao asking for help, he chose to remain silent and did not reply to her. As for what the other party would think if he was lucky enough to survive this time, he didn't care so much. At most, I can just change to another woman. After all, even if the other party can survive today, who can be sure that the son of this strong Hadao man will not suddenly regret it in the future and still want to kill Gua Yaoyao to eradicate the root cause? When that time comes, if he is still with the other party, he will definitely be implicated and dragged down. That's not what he wants. Gua Lily. Duan Yentian stepped out of the air, his eyes fell on Gua Lily, and a cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. You and I have no enmity at all, but you are too arrogant and domineering, and you insist on being my enemy. Now Gua Lily's face was pale. Facing Duan Yentian who looked like he wanted to settle a score with her, she quickly said, Duan Yentian, although I have done some things to you, haven't I done anything to embarrass you? If I really want to embarrass you, would I ask you to work as a supervisor on the mining island? If I really wanted to torture you, I would have destroyed your cultivation a long time ago and made you a slave in the mines. After hearing this, Duan Yentian smiled coldly. Gua Lily, I don't know what you think is your wishful thinking. You didn't kill me, you crippled me, you just wanted to make me suffer on the mine island, and you wanted me to change my mind, agree to be with you again. Xueqi makes things difficult for me everywhere. Do you dare to say it's not your fault? He has hinted to me more than once. If I don't want to stay on mine island anymore, I just need to agree to your request. So stop showing mercy in front of me. No matter what, you Gua Lily will definitely die today. After the words fell, Duan Yentian took action boldly, the sword light raging all over his body, and then turned into a giant bright sword light, piercing the sky, bringing up a terrifying wave of energy, making the air seem to stand still for an instant, and then slash towards Gua Lily. At the same time, Zhaoani and the 7th level of the imperial family of Zhonglan Divine Kingdom also swept across the 4 directions with their spiritual consciousness, targeting Gua Qiu and the rest of the people in the Gua mansion. Even Yang Tianhe and his son are deliberately wary. Although Yang Tian's words sounded nice, who knew if he was talking one thing and doing the other behind his back, so he had to be careful. Faced with Duan Nianshan's thunder blow, it was naturally impossible for Gua Lily not to resist, but she suppressed by the invisible force that Zhaoani swept out from the air. The power in his body seemed to be sealed and could not be mobilized at all. Can wait for death with a look of despair on his face. Am I really going to die? Are there no miracles? Gua Lily is getting more and more desperate. And as if God heard Gua Lily's inner call, there was a sudden explosion in the sky. Terrifying power shook the void, the clouds shattered, and then a figure fell from the sky, and a bright stream of light swept down from the sky. The meteor swept towards Duan Yentian. Not good dash. The expressions of Zhaoani and the powerful royal family members changed greatly, and they all took action, but they could only barely block the terrifying offensive that swept down from the sky. Boom! The earth-shattering explosion spread, and then shock waves spread, and the terrifying air waves spread like a mushroom cloud. With only the remaining strength, Duan Nianshan's offensive was crushed. On Gua Lily's side, the suppression originated from Zhaoani is gone. Gua Lily looked surprised. Enter the 8th level? Seeing that Zhaoani were unable to withstand the attacker's attack when they joined forces, Yang Tian's eyes lit up and he knew that his chance to perform had come, so he quickly took action to help the two of them block the attacker's attack. Who are you? The powerful member of the royal family of the Zhonglan Divine Kingdom glared at the visitor and roared sternly. I am a member of the royal family of the Zhonglan Divine Kingdom, and behind me is Lord Jiang Tianjing, a powerful member of the Hadao realm of the Zhonglan Divine Kingdom. Do you know who you are attacking? This is the son of our Zhonglan Divine Kingdom's new Hadao strongman, Master Duanling Tian. Before the visitor could speak, Zhao Ani shook his head helplessly. It doesn't make much sense to tell him this. This is the enemy of my brother Ling Tian. At the same time, Zhao Ani stared at the visitor with an unkind look, and there was a hint of sarcasm in the corner of his mouth. Laughing, Lei Hong, you are really getting better and better as you live. After all, you are also a super strong man who is famous in all the worlds, even in places outside the world. You and I, Ling Tian, my brother has a grudge. If you have the means, you can seek revenge from him, but you are here to embarrass a child. I am ashamed of you. That's right. The person who came was none other than Lei Hong. After getting out of seclusion and learning about Duan Lingshan's promotion to Hadao, after being drunk for a few nights, under despair and pressure, Lei Hong took the crucial step and entered the 8th level of the Dao. He went to the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, thinking that if Duan Ling Tian was not around, he would take action against his family and friends. However, he learned that Duan Lingshan's close relatives and friends had been taken away by him. At this moment, he happened to meet Shang and going to the Duan Mansion and told the remaining people in the Duan Mansion that there was news about Duan Lingshan's son Duan Yantian. Therefore, he followed Zhao Ani and Shang'an to Shaoshan Island. Zhao Ani, who was on the 8th level, followed him all the way, but Zhao Ani, who was on the 7th level, had no way of noticing. He was originally preparing to take action on Mine Island, but he heard that Duan Yantian actually wanted to seek revenge, so he thought of ruining Duan Nyanshan's good deeds and then killing him when Duan Yantian was preparing to kill his enemy. The Oriole is behind. It's more fun this way. So, he took action at this time. Unexpectedly, there was an 8th level Taoist at the scene who stepped in to help Zhao Ani and the others. Who are you? Lei Hong stood in the void, looked directly at Yang Tianhe, and said in a cold voice, We are both on the 8th level of the Dao. I advise you not to interfere in my affairs. Otherwise you will be my enemy, Lei Hong. He has been hiding all this time. Above the clouds, although they also saw Yang Tianhe and his son from a distance, they did not know their identities, nor did they know that Yang Tianhe had entered the 8th level like him, and his strength was obviously still at his level. Newly promoted to the 8th level. When Zhao Ani and the two found it difficult to resist his offensive, they easily intervened to neutralize his methods. Chapter 4704. It was precisely because he had been promoted to the 8th level that Lei Hong dared to think about causing trouble for Duan Lingshan's family and friends. Otherwise, with his previous strength at the 7th level, the Yu Shaog in Duan Mansion and Zhao Ani in Qingyun Mansion would have been enough. Join forces to defeat him. Repel. The last time he went to the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, he certainly didn't go there to defeat these two people and avenge his shame. Because he knew that after Duan Ling Tian was promoted to the Hadao realm, he must have gained the deep friendship from the royal family of the Jianglan Kingdom. Otherwise the Duan Mansion and the Qingyun Mansion would not have moved to the capital of the Jianglan Kingdom. Duan Ling Tian must have greeted the strong men from the royal family of Jianglan Kingdom. If he takes action against Xiao and the two, it will inevitably attract the intervention of powerful people from the royal family, and then he may really stay there forever. His plan was to assassinate. With his 8th level Dao strength, as long as there are no beings above the 8th level Dao in Duan Mansion and Qingyun Mansion, it will not be difficult for him to kill anyone. He can kill Yu Xiao, Zhao Ani, and the powerful royal family members before they react kill it. However, what he didn't expect was that Duan Lingshan's family and friends would all be moved. Finally got the news about Duan Lingshan's son Duan Yantian. He followed him. He thought he was sure of success, but he didn't expect that when he was overwhelming Zhao Ani and another 7th level Taoist, an 8th level Taoist suddenly appeared. Lair, intervene and defeat his offensive. Although it was only a brief confrontation, he could clearly sense that the other party was stronger than himself. So what if I'm your enemy? Facing Lei Hong's threat, Yang Tianhe smiled coldly and forcefully. It was completely different from the politeness he showed in front of Duan Yantian before, as if they were two completely different people. And all this was naturally because he had just received a message from Zhao Ani. Elder Yang, this man's name is Lei Hong. He was my brother Lingshan's enemy when he created the world of Mingpan. Today, I ask you to help repel him and help my nephew Niantian back to the river. Lanshan Kingdom, this favor, I'll take the debt first on behalf of my brother Ling Tian. Zhao Ani did this because he was naturally worried that Yang Tianhe would only intervene briefly and then ignore them. He never expected that Lei Hong would break through and enter the 8th level of the Dao. In this way, he and the powerful royal family are no match for Lei Hong. It is almost impossible to keep Duan Yantian. Fortunately, There was a strong man on the 8th level who was not weaker than Lei Hong. In order to draw the opponent to his camp, he directly sent a message to the opponent to tell him the details of Lei Hong. The implication was that Lei Hong came from the creation world. There is no backer in the divine earth world. And if you help deal with Lei Hong, the other party will be able to gain the favor of a strong Hadao man. Which one is more important? Zhao Ani believes that Yang Tianhe will make a choice. Lei Hong, as long as I, Yang Tianhe, are here today, you can never hurt this little brother. Yang Tianhe ducked and arrived in front of Duan Yentian, protecting him behind him. Although Duan Yentian knew that the other party must have done this for the sake of his father, he still thanked him quickly and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, this 8th level Taoist was here, otherwise he might not have done it today. Really dead here. Who would have thought that Lei Hong, his father's former enemy, would actually step into the 8th level of the Tao after coming to the world of the god? Moreover, it happened to appear here. No need to guess. He could also imagine that the other party must have followed Zhao Ani and the others. Then let me see what you can do. Lei Hong roared loudly, like a beast roaring. The air around his body vibrated in an instant, and exploded with terrifying power, setting off billowing air waves, as if a mushroom cloud was rising. Then his whole body was as excited as a cannonball. Shoot down! Boom! When the thunderstorm exploded at full speed, the air exploded wherever it passed, shaking the earth and the earth. Seeing this, Yang Tian's face darkened, his strength trembled, and he was ready to take action in an instant to face this Lei Hong. However, the scene that happened next moment made Yang Tianhe couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. But when he, Zhao Ani, and the powerful royal family were all preparing to take action, Lei Hong, who was shooting down, actually made a turn and rushed towards Gua Lily, and then took her towards the distance to break through the air. It was obvious that it's a sound coming from the east and attacking from the west, and he has no intention of fighting Yang Tianhe. For a moment, Yang Tianhe couldn't help but became angry. Damn it! How dare you tease me? Without any hesitation, Yang Tianhe chased after him. However, because Lei Hong had already had a plan and set off first, even if Yang Tianhe was a little faster, Lei Hong still escaped and disappeared under Yang Tian's divine consciousness. No trace. When Yang Tianhe came back, his face was still very ugly. At the same time he raised his hands to Duan Yentian and said, Master Duan, it was me Yang Tianhe, who was too careless and allowed Lei Hong to rescue your enemy. It's okay, Elder Yang. Duan Yentian shook his head and said, compared to my enemy being taken away, I am lucky to be alive today. Next, for the sake of Yang Tianhe, it was confirmed that Gua Qiu and Gua Yaoyao were against Gua Lily for targeting him. After being unaware of the matter and not participating in it, Duan Yentian did not implicate them after all. After all, Yang Tianhe saved his life today. Zhao Ani told him that if Yang Tianhe was not there, it would be difficult to protect him. Master Duan, in fact, the matter between my son and Gua Yaoyao has not been settled at all, and I have not agreed to this marriage. You don't have to let her go for my sake. Yang Tianhe was a little anxious, fearing that the other party would just return the life-saving grace. This favor is of no use to him. What he cares more about is the favor of Duan Lingtian, the powerful Hadao man. Duan Yentian has been outside for many years. Although his strength is still average, he is very clear about the world of people. Don't worry, Elder Yang. I will inform my father about this and let him know that you saved my life. I hope that in the future he can do whatever he can to help you. When Yang Tianhe heard this, his face suddenly brightened. Thank you, Master Duan. Afterwards, Yang Tianhe took his son and escorted Duan Yentian to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom. After returning to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom, he naturally saw Duan Lingtian, who had been waiting there for a long time. Looking at the stalwart figure not far away and the familiar handsome face, Duan Yentian rushed forward with excitement. Father. Looking at his son who was hugging him tightly and whose height was the same as his own, Duan Lingtian reached out and patted his shoulder. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I will send you to your mother later. Your mother will be very happy. She has been talking about you for a long time and has been worried about your safety. As Duan Lingtian spoke, he looked at the unfamiliar faces standing with Zhao Ani not far away, and asked curiously, Brother Zhao, who are these for? Chapter 4705. After returning to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom, the 7th-level member of the royal family immediately returned to the royal family and resumed his life. The 4 people around Zhao Ani were Yang Tianhe and his son, as well as Shang'an and Xueqi, the two people who helped Duan Yantian recognize his relatives. The main reason why the two came with them was to leave the Chongshan alliance and join the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. This was what Zhao Ani had promised them, and Zhao Ani was confident that with his own face, the royal family would not refuse to accept them and give them a good job. Of course, Zhao Ani knew very well that the reason why the royal family was so polite to him, a 7th-level cultivator, was mostly because of Duan Ling Tian. However, although Zhao Ani could make arrangements for Shang'an and Xueqi, they still wanted to visit Duan Ling Tian first after learning that Duan Ling Tian happened to be in the Duan mansion. Brother Ling Tian, this. Faced with Duan Lingshan's inquiry, Zhao Ani introduced the four people one by one. Especially when introducing Yang Tianhe, he bluntly said that Yang Tianhe had been a great help. Otherwise this time, even if he and another royal family were raped, even if the enemy takes action, it will be difficult to defeat. Duan Yantian was brought back intact. After learning the ins and outs of the matter, Duan Lingshan's expression darkened. He didn't expect that Lei Hong would actually step into the 8th level of the Dao, and this time his son almost failed to return. Elder Yang. Duan Lingtian looked at Yang Tianhe. His handsome face and warm smile made people feel like spring breeze, but it made the latter a little flattered. After all, the other person stood at the pinnacle of the world of gods and earth, a genuine Hadao. Strong. Master Duan Lingtian. Just call me Yang Tianhe. Yang Tianhe spoke in fear, lowered his head and bowed in salute. I'll call you Lao Yang. Duan Lingtian stepped forward and patted Yang Tianhe on the shoulder. I, Duan Lingtian, only have a son. It's really hard to imagine how sad I would be if something happened to him. It's his mother. My wife must also be there. It's heartbreaking. I, Duan Lingtian, owe you a big favor. In the future, if you ask for anything, as long as I can do it and it doesn't violate my principles, I can grant it to you. Duan Lingshan's words can be said to be very accurate. After all, the other party saved his son's life, which is equivalent to a huge kindness. Hearing this, Yang Tian's face turned red. Master Duan Lingtian, you're welcome. Duan Lingtian patted the other party's shoulder again. In the next period of time, you can stay in Jianglan Divine Kingdom for a while to see if have you thought about what you want me to do. If you haven't thought about it yet, when you need me in the future, it's okay to come to Duan's house and say hello. By the way, you can take a stroll here and feel the customs here. Having said this, he looked at Zhao Ani again. Old Zhao, I will leave it to you to entertain Lao Yang. Rest assured. Zhao Ani smiled and nodded. I will make Elder Yang feel at home. Immediately afterwards, Duan Lingtian exchanged a few words with Xueqi and Shang'an, and the two couldn't help but feel flattered. When Duan Lingtian asked them if they needed help with anything, when they arrived, they bluntly said that Zhao Ani had already helped them solve the problem. Hearing this, Duan Lingtian said nothing more. Yang Chun, I have met Lord Duan Lingtian. From behind, Yang Chun also came forward excitedly and saluted Duan Lingtian respectfully. Before Duan Lingtian could respond, Yang Tianhe looked at his son and said, Master Duan Lingtian, I have already thought about what I want to ask you for. After nodding kindly to Yang Chun, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but be startled when he looked at Yang Tianhe again. Old Yang, have you thought of it so quickly? Tell me, what's the matter? Although he felt that Yang Tianhe was a little careless and did not take his favor to heart, Duan Lingtian still respected the other party's wishes and was also curious about what kind of favor he wanted. Before Yang Tianhe could speak, Zhao Ani frowned and said, Elder Yang, Brother Lingtian is now a strong man in the Hadao realm. You'd better be cautious when dealing with favors from a strong man of this level. He also felt that Yang Tianhe was too reckless. Is this really the great elder of the Shaoshan Dao sect, the strongest force on Shaoshan Island? Why do you look like a dumbass? Yang Tianhe smiled and said, I've thought about it. Lord Duan Lingtian, what I want to ask of you is, I hope you can accept my son as your disciple. This short sentence made everyone, including Duan Lingtian, stunned. In the end, the person involved, Yang Chun, was the first to come to his senses. His eyes were shining and his face was full of anticipation. If he can become the disciple of this powerful man in the Hadao realm, who will dare to mess with him in the future? However, he was not happy for long. After Duan Lingtian came to his senses, he shook his head and said with a bitter smile, Old Yang, logically speaking, your request is really not difficult. However, there are some things that I still need to explain to you clearly in advance. I was promoted to Hadao, And the way I combined was the infinite sword way. You must have heard that in the world of gods and earth, there are existences that combine infinite swordsmanship. Speaking of this, he glanced at Yang Tianhe. As soon as these words came out, Duan Lingtian didn't need to say anything. Yang Tian's face changed slightly. Infinite sword Dao? Master Duan Lingtian, are you kidding me? Although he knew about Duan Lingshan's promotion to Hadao, he only heard about it through hearsay, and he didn't know what Duan Lingshan's Hadao was. Now when he heard Duan Lingtian say that he combined the Tao with infinite swordsmanship, the first thing he thought of was the Wanshan Chen clan. The Chen family of Wanshan is a double master. One of the beings who combines the three ways is different. He is one of the top existences among the powerful ones in the world of gods and earth. The other Hadao is the existence of Hadao with the infinite sword. In the world of gods and earth, living in the same era and contracting the same Tao is undoubtedly a big taboo. However, when he thought about it, he thought that Duan Lingtian came from the world of creation and destiny. Since the other party was able to merge with the Tao so quickly, it meant that before living in the world of gods and earth, the two strongest Tao that the other party had understood were the infinite Tao and swordsmanship. In this case, it is natural to combine infinite swordsmanship. In addition, seeing Yang Tian's expression change, Duan Lingtian continued. The two Hadao members of the Wanshan family have come to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom some time ago and want to cause trouble for me. Because of this, I have already put those closest to you around you. My relatives and friends were moved away and arranged in a place that only I knew, because I was worried that the Chen family in Wanshan would attack them because they did not respect martial ethics. Although I can also kill other members of the Wanshan family to take revenge on them. But once tragedy occurs, what's the point? Chapter 4706. Although he didn't quite understand some of his father's words, when Duan Yentian learned that his mother could only be hidden by his father, he still realized that although his father had now entered the Hadao realm, in God the earth world is not without its crises. Moreover, this crisis obviously does not come from the enemies from outside the world in the past, such as Lei Hong, Yun Qingyan and others. But they are the aborigines from the world of the gods, a superfamily with two powerful men in the Hadao realm. I've made everything clear to you. Duan Lingtian looked at Yang Tianhe and said calmly, as for how to choose, it is entirely up to you. And now Yang Tianhe, although he is a strong man at the 8th level of Taoism, usually his face does not change even when Mount Taishan collapses in front of him, but his expression at this moment is different. Still slightly embarrassed, he forced a smile and said, Master Duan Lingtian, thank you for telling me this. If in this case, it is indeed inappropriate. After all, I am not alone. Behind me is the Shaoshan Dao sect. The Shaoshan Taoist sect is also afraid of being targeted by the Wanshan family. Yang Tianhe said. Yang Chun on the side was also frightened into a cold sweat. Be obedient. Wanshan family? That is considered to be one of the top forces in the world of eyes and earth. Without his father's reminder, he knew that he could no longer worship this master. Just like that, a farce ended. If you want any favors later, you should think about it carefully. Duan Lingtian nodded to Yang Tianhe, and then looked at Zhao Ani aside. Old Zhao, please make arrangements for Lao Yang and his son. Nian Tian and his son and I have not seen each other for many years, and we still have a lot of private things to say. Upon hearing this, Zhao Ani quickly took Yang Tianhe and his son away. During this process, Yang Tianhe also apologized to Duan Lingtian repeatedly, but Duan Lingtian didn't care, because if he were Yang Tianhe, he would have made the same choice. After all, the Wanshan family is not a good person. Even if he is a strong person in the Hadao realm, there is nothing he can do about it for the time being. After all, they also have the Hadao realm, and there are two of them. One of them is a being who combines the three ways. After Zhao Ani took the people away, only Duan Lingtian and his son were left for a while. Duan Yentian couldn't help but asked with a worried look. Father, what did you mean just now? I heard half understanding. Tell me about it. Also, where is my mother? I miss her. I want to see her. Duan Lingtian smiled and said, Niantian, don't worry, father will tell you slowly. As for your mother, I will take you to see her now, and I will tell you while I am on my way. As soon as he finished speaking, Duan Lingtian took his son and set off. On the way, after Duan Yentian learned the ins and outs of the matter from his father, his face was not very good. Father, isn't the Wanshan family a little too domineering? Father, you didn't mean it. You come from the creation life world. In the past, You didn't even know the existence of the divine land world, let alone Hadouj. Now, you actually plan to come to you for trouble. Isn't this just looking for trouble? What do they want to do? Is it possible that I want you, father, to abolish your own way? It's ridiculous. Duan Yantian became angrier as he talked. It's because I don't have the strength. Otherwise I would definitely vent my anger on you, father. Hearing this, Duan Lingtian smiled. It was not easy for his son to have the strength to vent his anger for him. He had to at least enter the Hadao, and his son was not even a Taoist now. Soon, Duan Lingtian took his son to his family. His wife Li Fei was naturally extremely happy when she saw her son. Father Duan Ruffing, Mother Li Ro and others were also very happy, and they all circled around Duan Yantian. Yantian, you are dark, but you are also a lot stronger. Brother, you are finally back. Yantian, I'll be good if you come back. I'll be good if you come back. Duan Lingtian stood in the distance, looking at his son surrounded by stars like a moon, with a smile on his face. And at the same time, a figure also entered Jianglan Divine Kingdom from outside the north of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. In the blink of an eye, it has been decades since I came to this world of gods and earth. Xiao Tian has stepped into the realm of Hadao, and now I have also stepped into the 9th level of Taoism. Feng Qingyang Yukong went to Jianglan Divine Kingdom, his face with a bit of emotion. He said, I really didn't expect that the law of time that had ceased to work after I came to the world of gods and earth. After I went to that place, I actually realized something and successfully changed it. It turned into the way of time. My Dzogchen law of time has been transformed into 7, 7 and 88, and I have reached the 6th level. The reason why his swordsmanship can reach the 9th level so quickly this time is also related to his mastery of the way of time. Because in the past, his swordsmanship was greatly affected by the law of time. After coming to this world, without the law of time as a basis, although his swordsmanship did not deteriorate, it lost a bit of spirit. Now he has mastered it. The way of time, the way of swordsmanship is once again given a trace of time attribute, making rapid progress. A few days ago, his swordsmanship successfully entered the 9th level, and he also naturally advanced to the 9th level. Find Xiao Tian and tell him about this. If his space law can be transformed into the way of space, his strength will definitely be further improved. By then, the third path he has combined can be the way of space way. In the world of gods and earth, there is also the way of space. Now, he can master the way of time and can continue to understand the law of time in the past. How can it be impossible for his disciple Duan Lingtian to master the way of space? Although he was outside, Feng Qingyang heard the news of Duan Lingshan's promotion to Hadao clearly. He also knew that Duan Lingshan's Duan Mansion had moved to the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, so he went directly to Duan Mansion, the capital of the country. However, after arriving at Duan Mansion, they found that Duan Lingtian was not there. In fact, even Yu Xiao, whom he didn't really want to see, was not there. Therefore, he could only go to Qingyun Mansion next door to find Zhao Ani. Fellow Taoist Zhao. Feng Qingyang's return also surprised Zhao Ani. After learning that the other party came back to find Duan Lingtian, he bluntly said that Duan Lingtian was still in the Duan Mansion half a day ago. If he is not here now, he probably took his newly returned son with him. Try to find family and friends. Have you found Nian Tian? Hearing that Duan Lingshan's son had been found, Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up. He still liked that clever disciple. He was living outside. He had worried about his safety more than once. Now that he knew that the other party come back, he also breathed a sigh of relief. Why are you leaving? Feng Qingyang asked. When he learned the ins and outs of the matter from Zhao Ani, his face gradually darkened. Wan Shanshan family? Chapter 4707. Feng Qingyang had heard about some things about Duan Lingtian, such as his promotion to Hadao. However, Feng Qingyang did not know that Duan Lingtian was targeted by 2 Hadao masters from the Wan Shanshan family. Although he had heard it said before that there were people in the world of gods and earth who had also combined the infinite sword way, but he doesn't think that's the case. The method is completely coincidental. Moreover, he feels that since his disciple Duan Lingtian has become a Hadao, even if the other party is a little dissatisfied, it should not be a problem. But he didn't expect that he would come to his door and want to settle a score with his disciple. This is a bit much. For a moment, Feng Qingyang's eyes also shone with an icy cold light. With the foundation of the laws of time and the great perfection that I laid down in the world of creation life plan, My way of time will soon be able to step into the 7th level and then all the way go up quickly. The 9th floor should not take too long. At least, it's much faster than the other way I comprehended before. Using the way of time and the way of swordsmanship, it will be more efficient and faster. It can be said that before mastering the way of time, Feng Qingyang still had doubts about whether he could combine the way, but now his confidence has greatly increased, and he feels that with his swordsmanship and the way of time, he may not be unable to combine the way. Now, he just wants to find his disciple Duan Lingtian and take him to that mysterious place to see if he can restart the law of space in disguise and master the way of space under the environment there. If possible, with the other party's attainments in the way of space, he will soon be able to advance the way of space to the 9th level. Coupled with the already profound Tao of control, with the current age of his disciples, it is impossible to become the first contemporary person in the world of gods and earth, and the second person in the history of the world of gods and earth to combine the 4 ways. And Lei Hong. He almost killed Nian Tian? After learning what Lei Hong had done from Zhao Enya's mouth, Feng Qingyang's eyes almost overflowed with murderous intent, with a look of frost on his face. Then Lei Hong was promoted to the 8th level of the Tao, and then he drifted away? Don't let me catch the chance. Otherwise he will definitely die. Now that he has entered the 9th level, he doesn't care if he kills Lei Hong, who has entered the 8th level. He has even mastered the way of time and is sure to keep the opponent. If I also advance to Hadouj, even if Xiao Tian and I are both Hadao existences, it won't be difficult to surround and kill Chen Mingho. Feng Qingyang is still very confident about the way of time, and it has a control effect, can lock onto the void where the opponent is, and slightly affect the time there, although there is no Dzogchen realm time law in the creation life chart. An exaggeration, but definitely not to be underestimated. Fellow Taoist Feng, what are your plans next? Are you waiting here for Brother Ling Tian? Zhao Ani asked. Feng Qingyang nodded. I'll wait here for Xiaotian to come back. I have something urgent to look for him. He had no choice but to wait and wait for his disciple Duan Lingtian to come back. After all, he didn't know where he was now, and in this world of gods and earth, there is no way to carry out remote transmission like the creation world. For news, we can only wait in the most primitive way. Feng Qingyang didn't wait too long, because Duan Lingtian has nothing else to do for the time being. Apart from spending time with his family, he spends more time comprehending the way of control, preparing to promote him to the 9th level as soon as possible, and then integrate into the infinite sword Tao, allowing him to become a strong man who combines the 3 ways. When that time comes, the conflict between him and Chen Mingho will naturally be gone. However, even if the opponent still cannot be killed because there is a strong man from the 3 ways protecting him, it is still necessary to torture the opponent to vent his anger. Of course, for him, after the 3 paths are combined, the most important thing is to kill Yu Luaha and take back the creation chart. He could see that his relatives and friends were not used to life in the world of gods and earth, and they would be more willing to go back to their hometown if they could. Even for himself. In the world of the creation life chart, he can have multiple law avatars, and he can use the law avatars to accompany his family and practice cultivation. Wouldn't it be fun? The most important is, in the creation chart world, one can live forever. As for the so-called 1,000 years of heavenly tribulation and 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation rules in the creation life chart world, as far as he knows, they can all be changed by the owner of the creation life chart, otherwise there will be no historical barrier for the old man Kong Kong. In the previous era, the rules were it won't be different from his time. In addition to spending time with his family and practicing, Duan Lingtian plans to return to Duan Mansion in Jianglan Divine Kingdom after a while to see if any of his family or friends have returned. But unexpectedly, he had the unexpected joy of meeting his master who was waiting for him, Feng Qingyang. Master, are you back? Duan Ling was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that his master was back. And with his cultivation at the Hadao realm, it was not difficult to find out in the next moment that his master's current cultivation was, also. You have actually been promoted to the 9th level? So fast. He is worthy of being his guide in the way of swordsmanship. His master's attainments in the way of swordsmanship make it really difficult for him to catch up with him if he doesn't get the old man Wukong's memory trick. There were some adventures, Feng Qingyang said with a smile. And this is why I came back to you in a hurry. Immediately afterwards, he told about his adventure, which made Duan Lingshan's eyes brighten. Even if he was promoted to Hadao, now he was still a little excited at the time. You mean, the understanding of the law of time can transform on the path of time? What on earth is that place? Is it so weird? Master, take me over and have a look. Duan Lingtian is now a little impatient.
If he can master the way of space and can also use the understanding of the law of space, he can also quickly improve the Tao of space. Maybe he can overtake Palm the way of control first steps into the 9th level.
Good. Feng Qingyang nodded, understanding Duan Lingshan's mood and taking him off immediately. On the way, Feng Qingyang asked about Wan Shan Chen. Chen Mingho from the Wan Shan Chen family intervened many times to prevent me from killing Na Yuluo. Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed coldly and he said in a deep voice, Yuluo? Feng Qingyang was startled. Isn't that the owner of the creation life chart? It was also the way of heaven inside when we were still there. It's him. Duan Lingtian nodded. How did you find him? Feng Qingyang was surprised. He didn't expect that his disciples could actually find those powerful Hadao men in the world of gods and earth who even dreamed of finding and killing Yu Luaha who had taken the creation life plan. Duan Lingtian said, after I stepped into the Hadao realm, I found that I had some connections with the creation life chart. I think it was because I was the life born in it, so I was promoted to Hadao. After the life level was sublimated, I had a relationship with it. There was some strange feeling. Chapter 4708. Hearing Duan Lingshan's words, Feng Qingyang's eyes brightened, and then she said with surprise on her face, Is there such a good thing? Of course he knows what this means. This means that his disciple can find the creation life chart at any time in the future. As long as he has the ability to kill Yu Luo He, or seriously injure Yu Luo He and steal the creation life chart from his opponent, then he will be able to become the successor of the creation life chart. A new master people. When that time comes, people like them who have been exiled to the world of the gods and the world outside the boundary and the world may be able to go back. Although he didn't feel anything wrong with staying in the divine land world, he still felt that he was more accustomed to staying in the nirvana heaven. Maybe it was because he had stayed there the longest in the past, or maybe he was really older. Gone, old, began to miss old times and prepare to retire. Yeah, I didn't expect that either. Duan Lingtian nodded, then a cold light flashed in his eyes, and he sighed. Actually, when I first found Yu Luaha, his injuries were still very serious. At that time I was 90% the above certainty can kill him, but because I deliberately blocked the way for Chen Mingho, which affected my performance, so I couldn't take advantage of that opportunity to kill him. After that, I went to find Yu Luaha again, and his injuries recovered better every time. Because Chen Mingho kept interfering with me and took action, Yuluo has recovered to the point where he is not afraid of me. After hearing what Duan Lingtian said, Feng Qingyang's face was gloomy, his eyes were cold, and he chose people to devour. Chen Mingho? He kind of remembered this person. With the speed of the two of them, Feng Qingyang soon brought Duan Lingtian to the place where he encountered the adventure. It was a dangerous place that even the 7th level of entry would not dare to enter. There were various unstable storms and turmoil inside. Time wind, there are storms, space storms, and terrible storms of various elements. After I went deep inside, under the pressure of the time storm, I understood the way of time. After enlightenment, I found that my past understanding of the law of time came in handy and fit perfectly with it. The path between time is advancing by leaps and bounds. You try too, Feng Qingyang said to Duan Lingtian. At this time, the two of them were bathing in this forbidden area called the Abyss of Violence. Even if the storm shook them, it had no effect on them. When I first came here, I only entered the 8th level, and it was quite stressful. It wasn't until I was promoted to the 9th level that I could roam freely here. My way of time was gained through the process of feeling the storm of time here, because there is also a space storm here. I think it is possible for you to master the way of space. Wherever Feng Qingyang looked, the storm was raging, sometimes oscillating, sometimes stagnant, but with strange fluctuations. It was the time storm. As for the space storm, it has a sense of tearing, causing the void within sight to fold and create waves like ripples. It seems that the secret of the law of space is revealed when the world is created. Almost many. After hearing what his master said, Duan Lingshan's eyes lit up, and then he began to wander around the abyss of violence. At the same time, he deliberately relaxed his mind and sensed the space storm here. Feng Qingyang followed closely, while continuing to integrate the past understanding of the law of time into the way of time, while watching the expression changes on his disciple's face. Time passed quietly. In the blink of an eye, 13 years have passed. On this day, Feng Qingyang, who was sitting cross-legged in the distance and meditating on the way of time, suddenly noticed a cold space fluctuation coming from a distance. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the person coming was his disciple Duan Lingtian. At that time,
the space storm of the violent abyss not only did not impact him, but even continued to swim around him, like fish surrounding a person entering the water.
Success. Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up and she couldn't help but ask. Yes.
Duan Lingtian nodded, with a bright smile on his face. After 13 years, he finally understood the way of space through the space storm here. The understanding of the laws of space in the past has become the key to this Tao of space.
The help is indeed it's really big. I just realized it, and it's the 3rd level.
Duan Lingtian felt that with his way of space, he might have a chance to surpass the progress of the way of control. In the way of control, he mostly followed the old path of old man Wukong.
In fact, the road he took was still very short.
If he wanted to go further, he would have no clue unless he could get a combination that contained the way of control.
Taoist Monument. But the Hadao Monument is a treasure in the hands of any Hadao force. Basically, there are no idle ones, and they are all used by people to understand the Tao contained in it. He was able to observe the Hadao Monument of Zhonglan Divine Kingdom in the first place because he contributed to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom and obtained the Hadao Monument from Kuhai Temple. In that fight for the Hadao Monument, he could be said to be the main force. To put it bluntly, without him, let alone getting another Hadao stele, the original Hadao stele from Zhonglan Divine Kingdom would have to be sent to the Kuhai temples. Although the Yongye divine monk from the Kuhai temple didn't say anything later. But occasionally, he could still clearly detect the sadness deep in the other party's eyes, as if he helped Zhonglan Divine Kingdom away the other party's most beloved concubine. General. Master, go back.
Duan Lingtian looked at Feng Qingyang. Now that I have understood the way of space, there is not much point in staying here. In addition, I have observed that in this violent abyss, in addition to time storms and space storms, among the many storms, there are actually life storms and death storms, but there are no elemental storms. That is to say, anyone who understands the 4 supreme laws in the creation life chart world will have the opportunity to understand the corresponding laws as long as they can enter here.
The way of life. The way of death.
Among the close relatives around me, there are some who have understood the 4 supreme laws in the past, but without the strength above the 8th level, there is no way to stay here for a long time, let alone comprehend the corresponding ways of the 4 supreme laws here.
Speaking of what happened later, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but sigh. What surprised both Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang was that when they returned to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom after 13 years, they actually met Xueqi.
She was still as gorgeous as ever, standing there with a coldness on her delicate cheeks and an aura that was out of the ordinary, like a fairy in the sky, as if it would be blasphemy to look at her more than once.
Master's wife? Duan Lingtian was a little surprised. At the same time, he looked at Master Feng Qingyang next to him.
He saw that Master's slightly frowning brows had finally relaxed.
He smiled knowingly, and then retreated wisely, leaving some space. This pair has a Taoist couple I haven't seen for 100 years. Although the return of Master Xueqi was unexpected, it was also expected. With the strength of the other party, as long as nothing happens, after hearing the news about his promotion to Hadao, he will definitely come to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom all the way. Chapter 4709. Neither Duan Lingtian nor Feng Qingyang and his wife stayed in Zhonglan Divine Kingdom for long and left quickly. After all, people from the Wan Shanchen family might still come to cause trouble. At this stage, Duan Lingtian has a chance to escape in front of the 2 major Hadao members of the Wan Shanchen family. However, Feng Qingyang, who has not yet joined the Dao, and Xueqi, who has only entered the 7th level of the Dao, have absolutely no chance of being strong in the Hadao. The killer's men escaped of. Duan Lingtian returned to his family, and Feng Qingyang and his wife followed. After returning home, Duan Lingtian could see Yu Xiao's joyful mood. Although he and Xueqi were holding hands and chatting about old times, his eyes fell more on his master Feng Qingyang. His thoughts were obvious. I have a deep love for him as my master. However, this kind of thing can only be solved by his master, and he, a junior, can just watch the show next to him.
In the next period of time, Duan Lingtian, in addition to spending time with his family, was integrating his past understanding of the laws of space into the way of space, and the Tao of space was also improving at an extremely exaggerated speed, getting faster and faster.
More and more amazing.
In fact, Duan Lingtian is confident that within a few decades, the way of space will catch up with, or even surpass, the way of control.
You must know that although the current method of control is not yet clear at the 9th level, it has reached the 8th level and should not be underestimated. Tired of staying at home, Duan Ling Tian often took his wife out to travel outside of his cultivation. They traveled around the world incognito, and their footprints slowly covered almost every corner of the world of gods and earth. During this period, I also met some people who were not discerning, and without exception, they all ended badly. This is Shaoshan Divine Island. Niantian said in the past that he was trapped in a mining island in the Dark Night Forest in the eastern region of Shaoshan Divine Island. Shall we go and have a look? After Duan Ling Tian and his wives arrived at Shaoshan Divine Island, Li Fei suggested that although she was quite worried about her son's experience, times have changed and it is the best ending for her son to be safe and sound. It's just a pity. The son's enemy was rescued by Lei Hong. After talking about it, Li Fei sighed, with cold anger and unwillingness mixed in the depths of her beautiful eyes. Well, let's go take a look. Duan Ling Tian nodded. Hearing Li Fei mention Lei Hong, his eyes were calm, his face was calm, and his tone was calm. That Lei Hong either hides for the rest of his life and never shows up. Otherwise, as long as I catch one, he will die without a chance burial place. He didn't expect that even though they were all exiled to the world of gods and earth, Lei Hong's hatred for him would still be so deep. Since he wants to play, then I will play with him. Soon, Duan Ling Tian and his party traveled to the eastern area of Shaoshan Island and arrived at the Dark Night Forest. Finally, after asking for directions, they found the mining island. Looking at the mine island, although Li Fei knew that her son was safe, she still felt sad. His son suffered a lot here. After not staying here long, Duan Ling Tian and his party set off again to continue traveling around the world of gods and earth. While traveling, Duan Ling Tian did not forget to understand the way of space. After all, this was the key to whether he could ask Wanshan Chen for an explanation and whether he could the creation life plate from Yu Luahutch. He has a strong hunch that once the way of space is promoted to the 9th level, it will easily merge into his infinite sword way. After all, in the past in Wanjia, he followed the path of space swordsmanship. Now, the way of infinity is completely integrated into the way of swordsmanship. Once the way of swordsmanship and the way of space are integrated, the union of the three ways is right in front of you. The three paths merge into one. At this thought, Duan Lingshan's eyes were filled with hot flames. Only when the three paths are successfully combined can he truly stand at the pinnacle of this world of gods and earth. Moreover, the swordsmanship of infinite space, according to what he has learned so far, the world of gods and earth, there is no record in history that anyone has ever embarked on this path of harmony. Once he embarks on this path, he will be stronger than the current three-way powerhouses in the world of gods and earth. Because those powerful Hadao masters who combined the three ways all followed the old road that others had walked, and precisely because of the three ways integrating one-way monument left by their predecessors, they took it as a reference. Can we take a crucial step and successfully combine the three Tao and become a strong man who combines the three Tao? They tried their best to kill Yu Luaha, and the old owner of the creation life chart was also killed. It is absolutely impossible to do it out of compassion for others. They must be worried that Yu Luaha will merge the way of living sacrifice into the original two paths and embark on a new path of combining the three paths, which will make them invincible in the world of gods and earth and threaten them. Those people in the world of gods and earth, those who are strong in combining three paths, follow the old path that others have walked. So although they are stronger than those who combine two paths, their strength is limited. They want to leave behind someone who is not weak in a face-to-face situation. There is a certain degree of difficulty for those who are strong in combining the two paths. Of course, in a normal duel, the strongest of the three combined forces will definitely win. However, it is difficult for them to kill a strong man from the combined path. However, if the powerful man from the Wan Shanchen sects He San Dao attacks me, and another He Er Dao Chen Mingho steals the way, I may not be able to escape from the opponent's hands. This is also the disadvantage of following the same path as others. It is precisely because of this that Chen Mingho was so angry that he wanted to kill Duan Ling Tian quickly. After confirming that Duan Ling Tian was in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, he immediately rushed to Jianglan Divine Kingdom with his grandfather who was a member of the Three Ways. I want to kill Duan Ling Tian in Jianglan Divine Kingdom so that he can exclusively enjoy the infinite sword. Time flies by like a white horse passing by. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 years have passed. In these more than 100 years, all the old friends from the creation chart who are still alive have basically traveled thousands of miles to come to Jianglan Divine Kingdom after hearing about Duan Lingshan's name that made him famous in the world of gods and earth. The Duan mansion defected and had a place to stay since then. For a time, Duan mansion became even more lively. However, Duan Ling Tian still asked the relatives and friends around him to stay outside.
not wanting them to return to the Duan mansion and become the target of the Wan Shanchen family and even Lei Hong. Since he failed to kill Duan Yentian and kidnapped Duan Nianchen's enemies, Lei Hong seemed to have completely disappeared. Try again. As long as you can break through in one go, these three paths will be unified. More than 100 years later, Duan Ling Tian successfully understood the way of space with the help of his understanding of the laws of space in the past Zogshan realm. The 9th level. He had already begun to try to combine it into the infinite sword way in the past few years. Take the most critical step. However, several years have passed, but they have not yet been able to successfully combine it. However, he is not discouraged. After all, if it were really that easy to combine the three ways, there wouldn't be only a few strong people in the world of the gods and earth.
Chapter 47:10. What about Yu Luaha and Chen Mingho? Duan Ling Tian temporarily forgot about them. Because he knew very well that with his current strength, he couldn't do anything to them. Only by combining the way of space into the infinite sword way, and integrating the three ways into one, could he have the capital to intercept Yu Luaha and seize the creation life chart. Even go find Chen Mingho to settle the grievances caused by deliberately stealing the road in the past. The way of space is mysterious and unpredictable. A few years ago, he went to the two major unions of Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple and asked them for information about the way of space. According to what they said, the way of space is among the 10,000 ways. Considered relatively strong big way. It is said that the super strong man who refined the creation life chart in the past had the way of space among the ways he combined. There is even a way of time. That person is said to be one of the few superpowers in the history of the world of gods and earth who combines the four realms. Of course, according to Zhang Tianjing and Yongye Divine Monk, it is just a legend. No one can be sure whether it is true or not, because the person who refined the creation life chart was a figure from the world of gods and earth a long time ago, and can be traced back to Tai Kuei time that is so far away from the present that it is unimaginable. The creation life chart also went to bed with that person at the end of his life, and rested in the tomb left by the other person. It was not until someone got the creation life chart that it reappeared in front of the world. The person who got the creation life chart was the old owner of the creation life chart in the past, and was also the way of heaven of the historical era where old man Wukong lived. In the past, it was precisely because that person was besieged and killed, and the creation life plate was shattered, that the lives inside were not as lucky as Duan Lingshan's generation, and they all died with the creation life plate being broken. Even if they were stronger than no time, old humans are not immune to being destroyed by the power of the rules of the creation chart. This time, although the new master Yu Luaha was also surrounded and killed, the opponent had the means to save his life. He risked serious injuries and escaped with a slightly damaged creation life chart. As long as I integrate the way of space into the infinite sword way, I will not be afraid of anyone in this world of gods and earth, including those powerful men of the three combined ways. Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed with passion and yearning. In the past, in the world of creation and destiny, he was invincible in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. After coming to the world of gods and earth, although he was considered a strong man, there were still beings stronger than him. Now standing at the pinnacle of the world of gods and earth, there are still a few people who are stronger than him. As for other people, many of them are slightly stronger than him, but when combined with the two, even if they are strong, they are only limited. However, with the interference of Chen Mingho's shit-stirring stick, his strength can only be regarded as the bottom existence in the Hadao realm in the world of gods and earth, because when he is robbed, his strength will be significant restrictions, such as a result, it is naturally a big discount. When Duan Ling Tian studied the way of space and merged into the infinite sword way, his master Feng Qingyang was also on the road to combine the way of time and the way of sword. His way of time also entered the 9th level a few years ago. As long as Hadao succeeds, you can master the sword of time. Although the time sword way is not a new way in the world of gods and earth, because the way of time is extremely difficult to understand, the number of people who have experienced the time sword way in the history of the god and earth world is extremely limited, so even though it is not a new way, they can still master it. Call it the quasi-new way. If Feng Qingyang could synthesize the time sword Dao, his strength would probably be second only to those strong men who combine the three Dao in the world of eyes and earth. Because of the existence of the other combined paths, the path that each person walks has a time when Kendo is new. For example, Duan Ling Tian, even if Chen Mingho doesn't compete with him, Feng Qingyang, who combines the time swordsmanship with his infinite swordsmanship, is by no means an opponent. The difference lies in the newness or oldness of the Tao of harmony. The older the Tao, the weaker the power it can mobilize. In the end, Feng Qingyang was the first to successfully merge, and for a while, a strange phenomenon appeared in the world, shaking all directions. Even though there was no one nearby, The movement was so big that it spread widely. Practitioners further away saw the movement, and for a while the knowledgeable people were in an uproar. Someone succeeded. Oh my God! What kind of harmony is this? Look at this vision, one of them is the way of swordsmanship, and the other way is not recognized. This power looks extremely mysterious, and it feels more terrifying than the way of swordsmanship. There was a Hadao strongman who broke through. Even though everyone was curious, after confirming that the other party broke through in a deserted place, no one dared to get close, for fear of offending the other party. The other party is hiding in a place like this, obviously not wanting to be disturbed. If they rush over and disturb the other party, they will not be able to bear the drop of a finger when the other party is angry. I really didn't expect that in just 200 years, 2 powerful Hadao warriors would be born. Yes. This is also the first time in the history of the world of gods and earth. Those are powerful Hadao warriors. 2 people became successful within 200 years. Looking at the past history of the world, there has never been such a bizarre thing. Bar. While the people outside were shocked, Duan Lingtian and others also gathered over after Feng Qingyang broke through. Master, congratulations. Duan Lingtian was the first to congratulate him, and everyone else followed suit. They were Duan Lingshan's relatives and friends, and they all respected Duan Lingshan's master from the bottom of their hearts. Now the other party has also succeeded in joining the Tao, which makes them marvel and inevitably feel happy. Because this also means that people like them can gain a better foothold in the world of gods and earth, and may not need to hide like in the past. So Wanshan Chen is not afraid of Duan Lingtian and Hadao realm. How can he not be afraid of 2 Hadao territory? Thank you all. Feng Qingyang responded with a smile, and at the same time looked at Duan Lingtian, with a look of eagerness on his face. Shoutin, can you and I find a place to spar? Master, there is no need. I am definitely not your opponent now. Duan Lingtian shook his head and said helplessly. Not to mention my action, Chen Mingho will most likely cause trouble. Even if he doesn't cause trouble, Infinite Sword Dao will one path is far inferior to the Time Sword path. The former was killed by others, the latter is a quasi-new way. Hearing this, Feng Qing raised his eyebrows and his eyes were slightly cold. Shoutin, I have made a breakthrough now. Otherwise, you and I will go to the Wan Shanshan family together to warn Chen Mingho? You and I are both in harmony, and now we are still really not afraid of their Wan Shanshan family. They are a double master, so why are we not? Seeing that his master seemed eager to fly to the Wan Shanshan family immediately, Duan Lingtian shook his head again. Master, there is no need for that at the moment. With our current strength, the most we can do is give them a warning. We can't do anything to them. With the strong man who combines the 3 ways, it's hard for us to touch Chen Mingho's. Let's take a trip. Chapter 47:11. Master Feng Qingyang successfully joined the path. Duan Lingtian was happy for him and at the same time, his motivation increased greatly. Continue to delve into the ways of space. As long as my way of space is integrated into the Infinite Sword Way, and the Infinite Space Sword Way is achieved, with the strength of my master and me, no one in this divine earth world will dare to offend. Even the Wan Shanshan family is not enough for concern. That old guy from the Wan Shanshan family who combines the 3 ways, according to what the Yongye divine monk said, he only combined a path that many people have walked. In terms of strength, the 5 powerful people in the world of gods and earth who combine the 3 ways, he is the weakest. Over the years, Duan Lingtian occasionally went to Jianglan Divine Kingdom to find Jiang Tianjing, and to Kuhai Temple to find Yongye Divine Monk. In addition to discussing Taoism, he also learned a lot about the world of divine land from their mouths, including those who are strong in Hadao. Among the 5 strongest people, Chen Jiuxiao of the Wan Shanshan family is weaker. If he can integrate the way of space into the Infinite Sword Way, not to mention surpassing Chen Jiuxiao, he can even surpass the other 4 powerful 3-way masters in the world of gods and earth. At that time, with the cooperation of his master with the Sword of Time, even if it is a powerful person from the 3 combined paths, the 2 of them may not be able to intercept him. After I break through, I will first destroy Yu Luaha and seize the creation fates. Then, I will go to the Wan Shanshan family and destroy that Chen Mingho. If Chen Jiuxiao dares to stop then let's destroy them together. At this thought, Duan Lingshan's eyes also flashed with a bit of sternness. After all, he had no intention of provoking the other party at first, but the other party just came to him, looking like he was going to kill him, making him want to convince himself to let go. It's difficult to get past the other party. Continue.
Taking a deep breath, Duan Ling Tian once again immersed himself in the understanding of the way of space and the way of the infinite sword. Currently, the integration of the way of space and the way of sword is advancing very quickly, but the only slower ones are the way of infinity and the way of space.
Fusion of Tao encountered some difficulties.
However, Duan Ling Tian believes that as long as he is given time, he will be able to completely integrate it sooner or later.
Once that time comes, it also means that his three paths merge into one. Since Feng Qingyang succeeded in joining the Tao, Duan Ling Tian and others left that secluded place because it had been exposed. Even if no one would disturb them in a short period of time, over time, there would definitely be someone joining the way. Dao Qiang come and visit Feng Qingyang, the newly promoted Hadao. Although with the current strength of Duan Ling Tian and Feng Qingyang, even the two Hadao of the Wanshanshan family would have to consider it, they did not want to be disturbed, so they moved away. Changed to a secluded place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. After being promoted to Hadao, Feng Qingyang became more relaxed. According to what he said, his third path was still early, so there was no rush. The matter of combining the three paths should be left to his disciple Duan Ling Tian first. As for himself, he took Xueqi Zhu and Yu Xiao out sometimes and came back sometimes, which was very uncomfortable. It is worth mentioning that with Xueqi Zhu's help, Yu Xiao also became Duan Lingshan's mistress. To be precise, she is the second master. Time is like sand that cannot be grasped, constantly flowing away, leaving no time to care. Spring passed and autumn came, and 1,000 years passed in the blink of an eye. After 1,000 years, Yu Luaha completely recovered from his injuries. Standing on the top of a steep mountain peak, Yu Luaha was wearing a white robe and his handsome face revealed a bit of evil. He looked into the distance with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. For more than 1,000 years, Duan Ling Tian hasn't come back. It seems like he gave up. But Yu Luaha couldn't help but frown when he thought that Duan Ling Tian could sense the location of the creation chart. This was something he never expected. After all, the creation chart was not made by him, and he didn't know what kind of hidden hand it contained. Over the past 1,000 years, he has also carefully studied the creation chart that has been restored to its original state and the worlds inside have been restabilized. However, in the end, he has not been able to understand why the creation chart was destroyed by the beings who walked out of it. Breakthrough perceived after reaching the Hadao realm. Judging from the current situation, Duan Ling Tian probably has no intention of asking a strong person in the Hadao realm to help deal with me. Otherwise, he would have come long ago. The creation chart has always been on Luo He, because this is his heady. The core of the three-way of life sacrifice is that as long as he successfully merges, his three paths will become one, which will be a new thing that has never appeared in the past history of the world of gods and earth. Tao, the real new Tao, not some quasi-new Tao. At that time, even if the three powerful men in the world of gods and earth join forces to deal with him, even if he is defeated, he will still be able to retreat calmly. It seems that Duan Ling Tian doesn't intend to let others know where the creation chart is. Is he worried about making a wedding dress for others? After thinking about this, Yu Luaha secretly breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he was really worried that Duan Ling Tian would bring a group of Hadao strong men to track and kill him. His only means of saving life had been used last time. If the previous situation happened again this time, if he was surrounded and killed, he would definitely die. But I still need to integrate the way of life sacrifice into my original way as soon as possible. After the three ways merge into one, even if I don't kill that part of Ling Tian, no one will be able to take away the creation life chart. After years of hard work, Yu Luaha not only repaired the creation chart, but also allowed the way of life sacrifice to enter the 9th level. He is now on the road to combining the three ways and is preparing to combine them into one. A whole new way. Suddenly, the outer consciousness seemed to notice something, causing Yu Luaha's color to change instantly. Ka. I saw the void shaking in the distance. In a blink of an eye, two figures had already passed through Yulua River's spiritual consciousness and came to the vicinity of Yulua River. They stood there in the air and stared at the distance. Looking at him, it was two young men. One is wearing purple and the other is wearing green robe. Duan Ling Tian. Feng Qingyang. As the owner of the Creation Life Plan, although he cannot directly intervene in the life and death of the creatures in the world of the Creation Life Plan due to the rules, it is easy to monitor them, so he has long known that Duan Ling Tian, gentle breeze, what it looks like. Otherwise, when Duan Ling Tian came to chase him, he wouldn't have recognized Duan Ling Tian at first sight. The wind is gentle. Yu Luoha was really not afraid of Duan Lingtian. With his strength restored to its prime, it would be easy to defeat Duan Lingtian. If Duan Lingtian refused to retreat, it would not be surprising if he died at his hands. After all, the path he is currently following is a quasi-new path. He is also one of the best among the two strong men in the world of gods and earth. Otherwise, he was surrounded and killed last time. Even if he had the means to save his life, he would not be able to escape death. When his spiritual consciousness touched the past and approached Feng Qingyang, Yu Luoha's color changed instantly, and his face showed a look of horror. How is that possible? He has also been promoted to Hadao? When did Hadao become Chinese cabbage? Are you kidding me? Chapter 47:12. In the creation world, Yu Luoha was shocked by the emergence of an other like Duan Lingtian. A person who came out of a world like the creation chart, in his eyes, was like a material existence, and one day he was able to catch up with himself. You must know that you are the master of the creation chart, which is equivalent to watching an ant suddenly one day have as much power as yourself and be in the same realm as yourself. Now, looking at the two Hadao statues in front of him, he felt like his heart was trembling. Feng Qingyang, a being who was equally gifted and powerful in this creation life chart world and had always been second only to Duan Lingtian, actually after coming to the world of divine soil, he successfully merged with the Tao and became a strong Taoist. These two masters and disciples are going against heaven. A double path. Humph. Yu Luoha secretly took a breath of air and forced himself to calm down. Yu Luoha, who didn't want Duan Lingtian and the others to find out what a fuss he was making, suddenly snorted coldly, and then looked at Duan Lingtian with a joking expression. Duan Lingtian, don't you? Meeting, do you think you can keep me by bringing your master? Today, my Yu Luohi's injury has completely recovered. Don't talk about you and your newly promoted Hadao master. Even if the Wan Shanshan family has a double Hadao, it will be difficult for me to stay. Yu Luoha's strength is also among the best among the powerful He-Er Dao. This is where his confidence lies. Maybe I'm not a match for the two of you together, but if you want to keep me, it's simply impossible. Yu Luoha said in a proud tone. Wah! The next moment, Yu Luoha soared into the air, his robes trembling, floating like an immortal. He faced Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang in the air, with a hint of teasing and disdain on his lips. Wan Shanshan family? Facing the confident Yu Luoha, and hearing Yu Luoha's words again, Duan Lingshan's lips showed an evil smile and his eyes narrowed slightly. Yu Luoha, you actually turned Wan Shanshan family into are those two Hideos compared to my master? Are they the only ones? Also suitable? If it were another Hadao, even if his strength was as strong as the two from the Wan Shanshan family, he would not trample on others verbally. After all, there was no grievance or enmity. However, the two members of the Wan Shanshan family are no different from enemies to him. If you don't step on this kind of person, who else can you step on? Yo-ho! Duan Lingshan's words made Yu Luoha couldn't help but laugh. Duan Lingtian, what do you mean by this? Are you and your master stronger than the two from the Wan Shanshan family? Ridiculous! Once you take action, Chen Mingho from the Wan Shanshan sect will definitely compete with you. How much strength will you have left by then? Today, if you didn't bring Feng Qingyang with you, would you dare to come to me? Trash. After saying this, Yu Luoha smiled ferociously, his eyes full of disdain. After all, in his eyes, Duan Lingtian was not a threat. He was just a weak Hadao. Once Chen Mingho snatched him away, his strength would be divine land world definitely at the bottom of the list. Such a person dares to shout in front of him? Ridiculous. Stealing the way? Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but laugh. Who told you? I, Duan Lingtian, am still sharing the same platform with Chen Mingho. As soon as these words came out, Yu Luoha couldn't help but frown and didn't react immediately. However, in the blink of an eye, it was like a bolt of lightning struck, splitting the chaos in his mind and bringing him back to consciousness. But soon he quickly objected in his heart. Impossible. No way. How long has it been? It's impossible for him to successfully merge with a third path. Yu Luoha was not a fool. He quickly realized what Duan Lingshan's words meant, but the reaction was a reaction. He subconsciously thought that Duan Lingtian was doing it on purpose. Scared him because he thought Duan Lingtian couldn't be in such a short time. The third path will be combined within the time limit. Combining the three paths is not that simple, otherwise there would not be only a few people in the world of gods and earth with that strength. Unless there is something special about the life born in the creation chart.
However, as Duan Lingtian raised his hand casually, the power of Hadao swept down. As soon as the terrifying power appeared, the world became larger. The sky that was originally daytime dimmed in an instant, and the terrifying sword energy spread across the sky. Heaven and earth, the void trembles, and countless tiny space cracks appear. You know, this is the world of divine land, and the stability of the space is beyond ordinary people's imagination. Even if a strong man from the three combined paths takes action, it will be difficult to break the space. Unless the one that combines them is the way of space. And now, with Duan Lingtian taking action, Yuluaha has completely confirmed. Duan Lingtian has indeed merged into the third path, and it is also the way of space. Is it possible? At this moment, a crazy idea arose in Yuluaha's mind. Can the laws of space in the creation world be brought out there and presented here in the form of the law of space? In addition, it was difficult for him to understand why Duan Lingtian could comprehend the way of space to the 9th level and integrate it into the infinite sword way in such a short period of time. He is the master of the creation life chart, and he knows Duan Lingshan's industry very well. Before coming to the world of divine soil, he had never been exposed to the law of space, but he was good at the law of space in the world of the creation life chart, and he had already to realize the state of Dzogchen. Escape dash. After confirming that Duan Lingtian had combined the third path, Yuluaha only had fear in his mind. He quickly stepped away and planned to leave this place. However, Feng Qingyang, who had been staring at him for a long time, suddenly took action the moment he started. The power that was ready to go surged out, and soon the power of the sword was borrowed by him. The sword light was raging, as if it turned into a rain of swords. The land covered by the rain of swords, the void was stagnant, and even the speed of Yu Luohi's departure was too fast. Time has become much slower. At this moment, Yu Luoha also confirmed what path Feng Qinjiang was following. Time Kendo. This also allowed him to further confirm that some of the power of laws in the world of creation and life charts can be presented in the form of Tao in the world of divine earth. Go away! Yu Luoha roared angrily, and the terrifying power in his body shook. Then his power of Hadao was also attracted from the sky. However, in the process, he discovered that the speed of the power of Hadao was actually also affected by the gentle way of time affected and became a little slower. The overwhelming time sword rain shrouded the land, and time stagnated and slowed down. At this moment, Yu Luoha's scalp was numb and he felt desperate. How to escape? Without any hesitation, Yu Luoha gritted his teeth and said hurriedly, Duan Lingtian, if you want the creation life chart, I will give it to you. You and I have no grievances, so you don't have to kill me, right? Killing me will do you no good. Chapter 47:13. No injustice or enmity? Duan Lingtian stood in the sky, surrounded by terrifying power. He looked astonishingly powerful. He stared at Yu Luoha with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. You regard the people of the creation lifepan world, including me, as your resources. Use it to understand the way of life sacrifice for yourself. Isn't this a grudge? My relatives and friends and I were separated in the world of gods and earth, and it was difficult to reunite. My son almost died outside. Isn't this considered revenge? Ridiculous. After the words fell, Duan Lingtian suddenly took action. The power behind his back shook. He borrowed the power of the infinite space swordsmanship and turned it into a giant sword in the sky. It fell with pressure and further blocked the sky and the sun in the dim sky. It was very terrifying. It was the power that shook the space, carrying endless power and striking down, as if it could crush everything and sweep towards the Yulua River. And now Yu Luoha can't escape even if he wants to, because Feng Qingyang has taken action to control the flow of time in his space. Although it is impossible to stop him and the extent of affecting his speed is limited, at their level, even if just the slightest stagnation of speed is extremely fatal. Therefore, when facing Duan Lingshan's terrifying offensive, Yu Luoha could only bite the bullet and take action to meet it, because if he didn't take action, at his current speed after being stagnated, it would be no different from waiting to be killed. However, even if Yu Luo took action with all his strength, his quasi-new power of the second path was still vulnerable to Duan Lingshan's new power of the third path. After a brief stalemate, it was shattered, and then Yu Luo Zhan was also overwhelmed by Duan Lingshan's violent offensive. However, even so, he is still not dead. After all, he is the strongest. Under Duan Lingshan's full blow, the opponent tried his best to resist, but still survived. However, his body was seriously injured, his breath was weak, and his soul was crumbling like a withered lamp. Duan,
Ling Tian, don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, you can put forward any conditions. Yu Luaha, who was more seriously injured than the last time he was surrounded and killed by a group of Hadao, knew that he had no capital to escape now. As long as the person in front of him thought about it, his life could be easily wiped out at any time.
Sorry. Not interested.
Duan Lingtian spoke calmly, and with crisp movements, sent him directly to Luaha and back to the west. Yu Luaha, the master of the creation life chart, the way of heaven in all realms and beyond, may have never dreamed before that one day he would die in the hands of someone who came out of the world of the creation life chart. You must know that in his eyes, the people inside are just materials, ants used to help him understand the way of life sacrifice. After killing Yu Luaha, Duan Lingtian also got the creation life chart from his Neji. Since then, he has achieved his purpose of coming to Yu Luo He this time. At the same time, he is preparing to study the creation life chart to see if he can make it those lives that have been exiled to the world of gods and earth, go home again. Hadao is still easy to kill. Feng Qingyang smiled and came forward to observe the creation chart with Duan Lingtian. There was a little more expectation in his eyes. If possible, he still wanted to return to the Nirvana heaven to retire in old age. If it hadn't been for your good cooperation, Master, I might not have been able to keep him on my own. Duan Lingtian sighed and sighed. After all, he is a strong man in the combined way. Even if he only combines 2 ways, his strength is not trivial. Even if his 3 ways combined into one is a brand new way, he can crush the opponent, but his offensive is only strong, and he is no better than the opponent in terms of speed. How much stronger? The way of space can be banned, but it is not enough to keep the opponent. All in all, if Master Duan Lingtian didn't use the characteristics of the way of time to freeze the opponent today, it would be difficult for him to let the opponent confront him head-on. With his current combined strength of the 3 paths, looking at the world of eyes and earth, he does not think that anyone can take advantage of him in a confrontation. Let's go back and study it again, Feng Qingyang said. Master has only been away from the 2 mistresses for a short while, and he misses them again? You kid, you're getting smaller and smaller. The main reason why he came to kill Yu Luaha this time was because Duan Lingtian had made a breakthrough some time ago, successfully combined the 3 paths into one, and mastered the infinite space sword Dao. After getting familiar with the new way during this period, he couldn't wait to bring his master Feng Qingyang to Yu Luaha. It is worth mentioning that Master Feng Qingyang was able to sense the existence of the creation life chart after entering the He Dao realm. It can be seen that as long as the life comes out of the creation life chart, after entering the He Dao realm, all can have some subtle soul connections with the creation chart. Perhaps it is because their lives originally originated from the world of creation and natal charts, and it is difficult to break away from it. It was actually repaired. After returning home, Duan Lingtian recognized the creation life chart as its owner, and after getting familiar with it, he observed the creation life chart world from the perspective of the way of heaven, and at the same time, he also had a certain understanding of the many rules of the creation life chart. Some of the things he learned made him secretly gasp. According to the rules of the creation life chart, the owner of the creation life chart cannot fully grasp all the rules before the 3 paths are unified into one, and can only master part of the rules. For example, as long as the life in the creation chart is in the world of the creation chart and has not left the world of the creation chart, you cannot directly kill it. There is no way to enter it, otherwise the rules will collapse. Once you enter by force, the creation life chart world will also be destroyed. But once this happens, it will not be able to comprehend the way of living sacrifice, so it is impossible for Yu Luahi to do this. If the owner of the creation life chart unites the 3 realms into one, he will be able to break these rules. Not only can he enter it physically, but he can even take the life of any living creature inside from a distance. Duan Lingtian smiled. Fortunately, he has now united the 3 realms into one. Otherwise, when his relatives and friends return to the creation world, he, as the new owner of the creation chart, will not be able to go home. Is there still such a restriction? Feng Qingyang on the side was also a little surprised after learning the rules and details of the creation life chart from Duan Lingtian. In this case, if I were the master of the creation life chart, there would be nothing I could do before the 3 paths were unified. Return to the Nirvana heaven? The master of the creation chart who combines the 3 paths into one has mastered all the rules of the creation chart world. It also includes finding him himself through the breath left by the life inside. Even if he wanders into the world of gods and earth, I can still lock his location just like I sensed the creation life chart when I stepped into Hadao before. Hearing this,
Feng Qingyang's eyes were bright and he couldn't help but exclaimed, in other words, whether it's Lei Hong or Yun Qingyan, you can still find them even if they are hiding in any corner of the divine earth world. That's right. Duan Lingtian nodded. I have an impression of the auras of both of them. As long as I spend some time to find out their auras from the creation life chart world and integrate them into my soul, I can sense them now. It's at its location. Haha. This time they are doomed. Feng Qingyang laughed heartily, and then her eyes were cold, especially that Lei Hong, who almost killed Nian Tian last time. Duan Lingtian nodded, his eyes gradually becoming colder. This time, it's time to settle the old and new accounts together. Chapter 47:14. In the next period of time, Duan Lingtian began to search for the aura of Lei Hong and Yun Qingyan in the creation chart. Both of them were familiar to him. As long as he found their aura and integrated it into his soul, he would be able to sense it. Arrive their existence. After all, he is now the master of the creation chart, and the other two are the lives born in the creation chart. He is now the new way of heaven in all realms and beyond. While Duan Lingtian was immersed in the world of creation and life charts, Feng Qingyang raised his head slightly and looked at the turbulent vision on the horizon, a little surprised. It's been so long and it hasn't disappeared yet? After Yulua he was killed by his disciple Duan Lingtian. There was a vision in the sky where the road of Hadao collapsed. It was even possible to identify whose way it was through the road of Hadao, so as to know who was killed. At first, Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang thought that Yuluaha had been killed, and the strange phenomenon enveloped the surrounding area, which was similar to the vision that appeared when they broke through the Hadao. However, until they returned to the habitat of their family and friends, the sky was still in harmony. The vision of heaven and earth where Tao falls, above the layers of clouds and mist, the road to Hadao collapses, and silhouettes can be vaguely seen across the sky, and then suddenly fall, completely silent. However, after this scene ends, the cycle continues again. This vision lasted for a whole day and night. And in just one day and one night, the entire world of divine land was in a state of shock. This is because the vision of the death of a strong Hadao man is different from the vision of promotion. It sweeps and envelopes the entire divine earth world. All the strong Hadao masters who have not retreated in the divine earth world discovered this at the first time. Vision, and the identity of the deceased person was confirmed from the path of Hadao presented in the vision. It's Yuluo. He's dead. Oh my god. Who killed Yuluo He? Last time, so many Hadao jointly attacked, but they couldn't kill Yuluo He, and now they are killed quietly? Did those three powerful men join forces to take action? At the same time, Chen Mingho of the Wan Shanchen family also found his grandfather Chen Zhouxiao. Grandpa, you didn't go out. Is it those people who did it? Many people now suspect that it was some three strong men from the world of gods and earth. The other party shot and killed Yuluaha, but he knew that his grandfather had not been out recently, and he did not hear from the other party that other people had taken action, because those people were like if he wanted to take action, he would usually contact his grandfather. After all, his grandfather was a strong man of three ways. Who else could be there besides them? Chen Zhouxiao snorted coldly and said, "It seems that everyone is beginning to dislike me for being weak. They found Yuluaha and they didn't even notify me. Hateful." The other three powerful men did not know Chen Jiuxiu's current thoughts, otherwise he would have died unjustly, because Yuluaha's death had nothing to do with any of them. After a period of time, they gathered together and found out that none of them had taken action. They all looked confused. That is how the matter? What's the situation? Then Yuluaha, is it possible that the creation life chart backfired? But I never heard that the creation life chart can backfire on others. The creation life chart is a super strong person from the four paths in the history of our world of gods and earth. The thing he refined may have something special and can kill the two strong people. So, is the creation chart still an ominous thing? Fortunately, we got the creation life chart last time. We divided it into several parts and kept one each for safekeeping. If we really wanted to put it all together and leave it to someone to keep, we might end up harming him. Several three-way strong men began to think about it at this time. Among them, Chen Jiuxiu's resentment hidden in his heart has disappeared. It turns out that these people did not abandon him to kill Yuluaha and seize the creation life chart. Yuluaha had another cause of death. Sir, do you really not need me to serve you? I guarantee that as long as you try it once, you will never come back. In a splendid hall, a young woman with a good face found a bald man, looked at him with a seductive look, and said coquettishly. However, the bald man just glanced at her and gave her the word "get out."
What rubbish! He had gotten tired of women a long time ago and was no longer interested in them. In his world now, there is only the word becoming stronger. If the other party hadn't been the enemy of Duan Lingshan's son and allowed him to discuss Duan Lingtian, he would have killed him with a slap. Grown-ups! If you don't get out, you'll die. Sir, I'm leaving now, I'm leaving now. Gualili just turned around and was about to walk out, but suddenly stopped, looking at one of the two figures not far away. Her pretty face suddenly changed color. Duan Yantian. At the same time, she also noticed Duan Nianshan's side. There was another young man who was somewhat similar to Duan Yantian. There was a bit more vicissitudes and maturity in his indifferent eyes, so that she guessed the other person's identity immediately. Duan Lingtian, the new Hadao powerhouse from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Plop! Gualili was so frightened that she collapsed directly to the ground after screaming, her whole body shaking violently, her eyes full of despair. How did the other party find this place? She couldn't imagine it. The 8th-level Taoist who brought her here could not possibly expose the whereabouts of this place. After all, the other party also knew that his enemy was a powerful Taoist. Once he was found, he would definitely die. Ha! Lei Hong was closing his eyes to rest, and he didn't notice any abnormality with his spiritual consciousness that was always outside. After all, the spiritual consciousness of a strong Taoist can isolate the spiritual consciousness of entering the Tao. Under the cover of Duan Lingshan's spiritual consciousness, I and my son Duan Yantian were together. It was as if Lei Hong was invisible in front of his spiritual consciousness. But now, Gualili's exclamation made him wake up instantly like a dream, and he quickly opened his eyes. At just one glance, I saw two familiar faces. Duan Yantian, a little trash who has not yet entered Taoism, is no different from an ant in his eyes. The other person was the one who almost killed him in the past. Moreover, the other party is now in harmony. Duan Lingtian. How did he find this place? Lei Hong's expression suddenly changed, and at the same time he did not dare to hesitate. He immediately set out to break through the hall and prepared to escape. However, as soon as he hit the palace wall, he found that he could not move forward. A wall seemed to have been erected on the way forward, stopping him there, which also made him change his face again. What is it? This is space laws? No, it's the way of space. When Lei Hong was panicking and even despairing, Duan Lingshan's calm voice came slowly over. Lei Hong, it's rare for an old friend to see you again, and you ran away without even saying hello. Isn't it a bit rude? Chapter 47:15. Lei Hong's face was pale and he was sweating profusely, but his eyes when he looked at Duan Lingtian were filled with unwillingness. Duan Lingtian, how did you find this place? This place is so hidden that it is logically impossible for Duan Lingtian to find it. Although Gualili was brought here by him, this woman was always under the surveillance of his spiritual consciousness. She could not make any small moves at all. It was impossible to tip off Duan Lingtian, and the other party did not have the position to tip off the tip because she is the person Duan Lingtian must kill. Are you looking for Duan Lingtian to come here to kill you? I know I'm no match for you, but I hope that even if I die, you will let me die clearly. Lei Hong, who is well aware of the gap between himself and Duan Lingtian, knows that he will definitely die today, but if he cannot solve this doubt before he dies, he will really die in peace. To show my sincerity, I will help you kill this femme fatale who harmed your son. As soon as he finished speaking, Lei Hong struck out like lightning and killed Gualili from the air. Gualili fell to the ground with her eyes wide open. She could not figure out until her death why the person who saved her would help Duan Yantian kill her here. Then, Lei Hong stared at Duan Lingtian with red eyes and growled. Lei Hong, please. Facing Lei Hong's hysteria, Duan Lingtian glanced at him lightly and said in a calm tone. Lei Hong, according to my previous temperament, I will definitely not be able to answer your questions before you die. Now, I can explain something to you. If before he became the master of the creation life chart, faced with the current situation, he would have really not bothered to nag Lei Hong and killed Lei Hong directly. As for Lei Hong dying with a peaceful eye, what would it have to do with him? Dry. But now, after becoming the person who created the birth chart, his patterns suddenly opened up. In other words, his mentality has completely changed. In his eyes,
Lei Hong is no longer the enemy or rival of the past, but just a little creature born in the world he controls. Yu Luoha has been killed by me. The creation chart has recognized me as the master. After combining the 3 paths, I can master the creation life chart better than Luo He. I can lock your position by collecting the traces and auras you left in the world of the creation life chart. When Duan Lingtian said this, Lei Hong's expression suddenly changed, and he looked at Duan Lingtian again, as if he had seen a ghost. Combine 3 paths? Although he felt that it was a bit outrageous and even a fantasy, he also knew that at this time, there was no need for Duan Lingtian to deceive himself. At this moment, he was filled with regret. If I had known that Duan Lingtian was so rebellious, when I had an enmity with Duan Lingtian, wouldn't I just have bowed my head to him and be done with it? Why should you look down on the other person just because you think the other person is a junior? Regret. Is there anything else you want to ask? Duan Lingtian said calmly. If not, I will send you on your way. It's gone. Lei Hong smiled miserably, but at the same time, his strength vibrated, bursting out with the final glory. Although he knew that he was not Duan Lingshan's opponent, but with his character, he was not someone who just waited to be killed. Even if he knew that he was defeated, he knew that he would fight back. Resistance means death, but he doesn't want to wait for death. However, the strength of Lei Hong, who entered the 8th level of the Tao, in front of Duan Lingtian, who had combined the 3 levels, was like the difference between the light of a grain of rice and the brightness of the bright moon. He was wiped out by Duan Lingtian, and then Lei Hong's entire body was also suppressed by Duan Lingtian. The terrifying power was crushed, the spirit and soul were destroyed, and the body no longer existed. Duan Lingshan's enemy, who had been his enemy for many years, died at the hands of Duan Lingtian. If we say that when the 2 of them first became enemies, Lei Hong still had some strength to resist, but now Lei Hong doesn't even have the slightest strength to resist. Father, since Gua Lily and Lei Hong are both dead, please send me back. I also want to cultivate the way of space. I will first go back to the creation life chart world to lay the foundation, and then come to the world of gods and earth to transform it into the way of space. Duan Yentian said to his father that the strength his father showed shocked him. The once arrogant man who stood at the top of the world and the one who killed him casually had no way to fight back in front of his father. His strength was like fish on a chopping board for his father to slaughter. Although he knew that he would never have the hope of catching up with his father in this life, as Duan Lingshan's son, he really didn't want to be called a tiger father and dog son. He also wants to become stronger. Duan Lingtian nodded, and then sent his son back to the creation world. Some time ago, after he thoroughly grasped and became familiar with the creation chart and captured the auras of Lei Hong and Yun Qingyan, he asked his family and friends for their opinions, and then sent them back when they readily agreed. Create the birth chart world. After returning, everyone was very happy. Although the world of Divine Land is not bad, it is not their hometown. They still prefer to stay in the world or outside the world. Now, as the creation chart has been repaired, the land outside the world and the world have returned to their original appearance. However, many of the destroyed buildings have not been restored and are still in ruins. But these are not a problem for them. Just rebuild. After solving Yun Qingyan, go back to Jianglan Divine Kingdom. If the people of Duan Mansion and Qingyun Mansion want to go back to the 10,000 realms and the land beyond the boundary, I will send them back together. As soon as his heart moved, Duan Lingtian disappeared from the place in a flash. When Yun Qingyan, who was now renamed Yun Xinfeng, saw Duan Lingtian, he thought he was dazzled. Then his face changed drastically and he wanted to escape, but was stopped without any accident. Yun Qingyan didn't even step into the 4th level, and even Lei Hong, who was on the 8th level, was stopped by Duan Lingtian at will, let alone him. Yun Qingyan, long time no see. Duan Lingtian looked at Yun Qingyan in front of him. Although the other person's appearance had changed due to the soul fusion with the souls of the Soul Clan in the past, he could still vaguely see the shadow of the past, especially that a pair of eyes is basically there is no difference. At this moment, Duan Lingshan's thoughts seemed to go back to the time when he was still in the secular plane, and the scene where Yun Qingyan came forcefully and trampled him under his feet. That day, Yun Qingyan was an invincible existence in his eyes, and he could crush him with one finger. And now, it's the other way around. He can crush the opponent with one finger. Duan Lingtian. How did you find this place? Yun Qingyan was a little doubtful about life. He specifically found a remote and uninhabited place where he was, and confirmed that no one was following him when he came here, and no one knew his identity or had any motive to follow him.
But how did Duan Lingtian find him? I know you're curious. Duan Lingtian smiled lightly, however, I have no obligation to answer it for you. Just go to with this doubt. Then, when Yun Qingjian's pupils shrank sharply and his face showed a look of horror, Duan Lingtian slapped him to death. He didn't even bother to talk nonsense to Yun Qingyan. In his eyes, Yun Qingjian's hatred for him was much deeper than the hatred for Lei Hong. Everything has been solved. After visiting the Jianglan Divine Kingdom and sending everyone back to the creation chart, it's time to visit the Wanshan Chen clan. On the way to Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Duan Lingtian had a thought and whispered. A few days ago, his master Feng Qingyang was asking him when he would go to Wanshan Chen family for a stroll. He seemed to be more anxious than him. Now it's time. Chapter 47:16. The Chen family in Wanshan occupies a vast area with beautiful mountains and clear waters and pleasant scenery. This place is also one of the top forces in the world of gods and earth, just because there is not only a super strong man who combines 3 ways, but also a strong man who combines 2 ways. A Shuang Hadao is the confidence of Wanshan Chen's position as the dominant force in the world of gods and earth. In the past, even when the Wanshan Chen family had only 1 Hadao strongman, no one dared to come to provoke him, let alone now that the Wanshan Chen family has 2 Hadao strongmen, one of whom is a Hadao master. Existence. Now, if someone tells the people of the Wanshan Chen sect that someone is going to them to cause trouble, they will only smile disdainfully and say bluntly, if anyone dares to come to our Wanshan Chen sect to cause trouble, there will be no return. Really think we are 10,000 are the 2 Hadao ancestors of the Shanshan family made of clay? But today, the Wanshan Chen family really welcomed 2 uninvited guests. Wah! A terrifying divine consciousness swept down and enveloped the entire Wanshan Chen clan. The divine consciousness contained powerful power, as if it had no reservations. It instantly overwhelmed everyone in the Wanshan Chen clan, and felt it was difficult to breathe. The lower ones were even pressed to the ground, trembling. This is a strong Hadao person. Many monks from the Wanshan Chen clan shrank their pupils, with expressions of astonishment on their faces. They couldn't figure out which strong Hadao man dared to come to their Wanshan Chen clan. Come to fight wildfire. This is not to put the 2 Hadao of their Wanshan Chen family on in your eyes? You know, one of their Wanshan Chen clan's Hadao exists in Hadao. Where does this powerful Hadao man dare to mess with our Wanshan Chen clan? Humph. How strong we are now, but how embarrassed we are when we run away. We, the Wanshan Chen sect, are a double Hadao master. Looking at the entire world of gods and earth, we are not afraid of anyone, including the strong Hadao masters. Even though they knew that a strong Hadao man was coming, everyone in the Wanshan Chen family did not panic at all, just because there were 2 Hadao ancestors behind them. Now many people are already expecting the 2 ancestors to take action, kill those who retreat. Let those who come, scenes of people fleeing in embarrassment. Time kendo? An indifferent voice seemed to come from the abyss, with a bit of anger and coldness, sweeping across the entire Wanshan Chen family. Soon, a figure, as if teleporting, roared from the depths of the Chen family in Wanshan. In an instant, it was not far away from the 2 young men in the void. It stared at the young man in green among the 2. His face is gloomy as water. But he is an old man who looks like a child with gray hair. It is Chen Jiuxiao, the powerful master of the 3 combined paths of the Wanshan Chen family. It seems that you are the mysterious new Hadao from the world of gods and earth thousands of years ago. Chen Jiuxiao stared at Feng Qingyang, his eyes flashing. The sword of time is indeed powerful. But if you think of our Wanshan Chen family running wild based on this, I'm afraid it's not qualified. Before Feng Qingyang could speak, another figure appeared. Feng Su Yufeng arrived, but it was Chen Mingho who came closely behind Chen Jiuxiao, another strong Taoist of the Wanshan Chen family, who combined the same Tao that Duan Lingtian had previously combined. Sword Dao, after he appeared, he stared at Feng Qingyang with the same cold eyes. The consciousness just now was that of Feng Qingyang, who used Chen Mingho's anger against his disciple Duan Lingtian to forcefully suppress the people of the Chen family in Wanshan. A newly promoted Hadao dares to go wild in our Wanshan Chen clan. Do you really think that our Wanshan Chen clan has no one? Chen Mingho sneered, with a bit of cruelty at the corner of his mouth. If you have the ability, don't run away later, fight me until death. Until death. Feng Qingyang smiled and glanced at Chen Mingho with disdain. Chen Mingho, right?
You, who are walking on such a bad path as the infinite sword way, have the confidence to say this? Without Chen Jiuxiao, would you dare to say this? Chen Mingho, who was despised, was struck by Feng Qingyang's thoughts, and his face suddenly darkened, with killing intent in his eyes. Master, since he wants to fight to the death, let's help him. On the side, the young man in purple who had not spoken until now spoke in a calm tone, and at the same time as he spoke, he who was originally reserved suddenly seemed to become a beast that traveled across time and space from ancient times. The beast exudes a terrifying aura. Wah! The consciousness of the combined three paths spread out and swept across all directions. Even the consciousness of Chen Jiuxiao, who had just appeared and crushed Feng Qingyang's consciousness, was shaken to the point of collapse in front of his consciousness, as if it could be shaken at any time. May collapse. Three powerful ones? Chen Jiuxiao's expression changed instantly. He was both a strong person in the three ways. At this moment, it was not difficult to confirm the Tao that the other party had mastered, and even a new Tao that had never appeared in the history of the world of gods and earth, the way of infinity, the way of swords and the way of space, three ways in one. Are you Duanling Tian? Chen Jiuxiao immediately guessed the identity of the young man in purple in front of him. He must be Duanling Tian, who had been exiled from the creation world to the divine earth world. Duanling Tian, in the past, he joined forces with the infinite sword Dao. There was a Tao conflict with his grandson Chen Jiuxiao, so much so that they even went to the Zhonglan divine kingdom to cause trouble for each other. That time, it was considered that the relationship was established with the other party. Today, a three-way strongman who mastered the infinite space sword technique came to the Chen family in Wanshan, looking like he was looking for trouble. Even if he didn't want to believe it in his heart, he didn't dare to believe it, but he had to believe it. That is Duanling Tian. Otherwise, such a super strong man would come to Wanshan Chen family to look for trouble when he has nothing to do? Duanling Tian? At this moment, Chen Mingho's expression changed drastically. How is it possible? You have only been able to combine the two realms for more than 1,000 years. How could you combine the third realm so quickly? He also realized that the person in front of him was him. In the past, he hated the person he hated deeply and wished he could crush him to ashes. But he was hiding and he couldn't do anything to him. But he didn't expect that the other person would come to him and cooperate with him. He passed the third path and became one of the rare three-way powerhouses in the world of gods and earth. Moreover, the opponent's infinite space swordsmanship seems to have never appeared in the past history of the world of eyes and earth. A brand new three ways in one. In front of the opponent's consciousness, his consciousness was ruthlessly crushed. Even the consciousness of his grandfather Chen Jiuxiao, who was also a strong man in the three realms, was like a withered lamp and a dying fire in front of the other party's domineering consciousness. Tottering, it can be seen that the strength and dominance of Feng Shuo's way. Duanling Tian, what happened in the past was my fault. If you are angry, I can apologize to you. Although he was reluctant in his heart, at this moment, Chen Mingho, under the urgent voice reminder from his grandfather Chen Jiuxiao, lowered his proud head, suppressed his voice, and spoke in a very low posture. Chen Jiuxiao had to be the first to give in. The other party is also a double master. The second master on the other side masters the time sword. His grandson's infinite sword is no match. As for Duanling Tian, he is taking a brand new path of three paths in one, which is definitely beyond his ability to deal with. At the same time, he was also secretly cursing in his heart that when Ling Tian's three paths merged into one, he must have chosen an extremely remote place. Otherwise, even if he did not see the vision of the three paths merging with his own eyes, someone would definitely see it, and even spread throughout the world of gods and earth. The vision of three realms merging into one covers a similar range to that of two realms merging into one, but it can be seen from it that it is three realms merging into one. Ha ha! However, Chen Mingho's resignation was replaced by Duan Lingshan's chuckle. If apologizing is useful, why did I still work so hard with the third way? Chapter 47:17. When the words fell, the expressions of Chen Mingho and Chen Jiuxiao changed drastically. Duanling Tian also took action like thunder. The terrifying aura swept across all directions, and the fierce sword light with the aura of space filled the sky, seemingly endless, roaring across the sky. Coming, it seems to have turned into a cage of heaven and earth. The entire world is imprisoned inside. In an instant, the raging space storm spread, and a large area of buildings belonging to the Chen family in Wanshan was directly razed to the ground, and even the nearby mountains and rivers were flattened. Above the sky, The combined power of the infinite space swordsmanship rolls down like an invincible galaxy, falling from the sky. The accompanying terrifying aura is almost suffocating. This is the unification of the three new ways. Boom. There was an explosion, followed by a series of loud noises, and wailing could be heard everywhere in the Wanshan Chen clan's residence. The monks above the level of Taoism successfully escaped for their lives, while those below the level of Taoism and the stronger ones also escaped in embarrassment, and many others were forever they were left where they were, and the family ruins became their burial ground. Duan Lingtan, you are too arrogant. Chen Jiuxiao was furious, and the power of the three paths also swept over him. However, the power of Hadao, which was so powerful in the past, was obviously lacking in background when compared with Duan Lingshan's power of Hadao. Wah! Feng Qingyang and Chen Mingho also took action almost at the same time. Chen Mingho had a sinister look on his face. He looked fierce, but in fact, there was heartfelt fear deep in his eyes. Facing a strong Hadao master who has mastered the Sword of Time, he has no confidence in winning, but he still has a certain degree of confidence if he wants to escape. After all, no one can compete with him now. However, now that he thinks about this, he is not happy at all. It can even be said that he now wishes that Duan Lingtian could still compete with him. If that is the case, it also means that Duan Lingtian has not made any further breakthroughs and has not merged into the third path based on the infinite sword path. Damn it! How could this Duan Lingtian be so defiant? In just over 1,000 years, he first merged with the two realms to join the ranks of the powerful ones in the world of gods and earth, and then merged with the third realm and mastered the power of the three realms. When, together three ways and a brand new way. Is it that simple? Is it possible that he has some tricks? Thinking of this, Chen Mingho felt jealous and angry. Why are all the good things taken away by the other party? God is unfair. Soon, Duan Lingtian and Chen Jiuxiao collided together. The two people's strength clashed, causing everything in a large area around them to turn into powder. Dust was flying all over the sky. The only visible creatures were Feng Qingyang and Chen Mingho, two people. The aftermath of their fight was not enough to affect Feng Qingyang and Chen Mingho. And now Feng Qingyang has also become involved with Chen Mingho. After a brief exchange, Duan Lingtian gained the upper hand. On the other hand, Chen Jiuxiao looked gloomy and ugly, and even his hands were trembling slightly. It could be seen that the blow just now put him under a lot of pressure. On the other hand, Duan Lingtian is still as handsome as before, without any damage. The gap is so huge that it can be seen at a glance. The new path that combines three paths into one is so terrifying. At this moment, Chen Jiuxiao had already begun to think about quitting, and he felt that as long as he wanted to leave, Duan Lingtian would not be too lazy to let him go. Mingho, let's retreat. It will do us no good to continue fighting for a long time. Chen Jiuxiao sent a message to Chen Mingho and said to him. Now, Chen Mingho was being beaten by Feng Qingyang. At that time, the kendo as a quasi-new way completely overwhelmed his infinite kendo, making him feel helpless and powerless. He realized the gap between himself and the opponent, and only can barely resist the opponent's hand. However, it is not that easy for the other party to kill him. Escaping unscathed, he asked himself whether he could still do it. Chen Jiuxiao was confident that he would be able to escape from Duan Lingshan's hands. Chen Mingho was also confident that he could retreat under Feng Qingyang's hands. However, what if Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang team up to target one person, and it is the weaker Chen Mingho? Boom! An earth-shaking loud noise, like thunder on the ground, suddenly sounded. But when Duan Lingtian faced Chen Jiuxiao, he suddenly exploded, but the target was not Chen Jiuxiao, but Chen Mingho. Wah! The sword light that filled the sky seemed to spread infinitely from the void, tearing the sky apart, converging into a sword, and killing Chen Mingho. Under this sword, the void shook, and tiny space cracks appeared one after another, which was shocking. On the other side, Feng Qingyang also took action at the same time. The characteristics of the time sword changed and enveloped Chen Mingho, freezing his figure. Not to mention that Chen Mingho now has no fighting spirit and is waiting for an opportunity to escape. Even if his fighting spirit is boiling, it is difficult to survive under the hasty siege of Duan Lingtian and Feng Qingyang. After all, his infinite sword technique is really too old and broken. Mingho! Chen Jiuxiao never expected that Duan Lingtian, who was fighting with him, would suddenly turn around and attack Chen Mingho. Moreover, this was when he reminded Chen Mingho to prepare to escape. Ah dash! Chen Jiuxiao became furious and rushed to the rescue, But in the end it was still a little late. I saw that under Feng Qingyang's stagnant control of time, not only did Chen Mingho's body speed slow down a lot, but even the speed of his shots also slowed down. Feng Qingyang was concentrating on controlling the field and not launching an offensive. Can to maximize the control of time. Feng Qingyang is in charge of control, while Duan Lingtian is in full power output. The power of the three paths, and it is also a brand new way. Looking at the contemporary world of Earth and Earth, he considers himself second in terms of attack, and absolutely no one dares to claim first. Boom. The loud noise shook the earth and the earth. Even if Chen Mingho was ready to resist, he was still vulnerable to Duan Lingshan's offensive that seemed to be able to destroy the world. In the blink of an eye, he was blasted with half of his body left. After all, even if his strength was compared to Luo Luo's, he was still vulnerable. There are many in Hedu, so naturally they cannot stop Duan Lingshan's terrifying offensive. With just one blow, Chen Mingho was killed by Duan Lingtian. Of course, it was also because Feng Qingyang cooperated well, otherwise Chen Mingho would have been injured at most, or even seriously. A strong Hadao person, even if he is following a dilapidated path, his strength cannot be underestimated. Boom, boom, boom. Red clouds and dark clouds were raging in the sky, and blood rain poured down, covering the Chen family that had been razed to the ground. It even continued to spread in all directions, and once reached the sky covering the entire Divine Land world. For a time, the whole world of Divine Land was in panic. Is this another strong person from Hadao dying? Oh my god! How many days has passed? The owner of the creation chart, Yuluaha, who practiced the taboo of life sacrifice, died just a few days ago, and Hadao died again? This is Infinite Sword Dao? Was it the newly promoted He Dao Duan Lingtian who died 1,000 years ago? Was he killed by two members of the Wan Shanqin family? Chapter 47:18. In the contemporary world of the gods and earth, there are two people walking on the path of infinite sword. One is Chen Mingho, an aboriginal member of the Wan Shanqin family's sacred land world, and the other is Duan Lingtian, an alien creature from the creation world. Duan Lingtian was promoted to Hadao later, because he also followed the infinite sword way, which overlapped with the Hadao path taken by Chen Mingho, which was tantamount to being an enemy of Chen Mingho head-on. If Chen Mingho was just a loner, that would be fine. With him walking the infinite sword path, Chen Mingho would be unable to do anything to Duan Lingtian. But the problem is, Chen Mingho is not alone. There is even a more powerful Hadao expert behind him. He is one of the few people standing at the top of the world of gods and earth, a super strong man who has combined the three ways. In this situation, many people felt that Duan Lingtian was going to be unlucky. In fact, many people have heard that Chen Mingho and Chen Zhouxiao went to Zhonglan Divine Kingdom to find Duan Lingtian, and they feel that they will not let Duan Lingtian go easily. But now, a strong man with unlimited swordsmanship has died. The first thing everyone thinks of is Duan Lingtian, and no one thinks it is Chen Mingho, just because there is Chen Zhouxiao standing behind Chen Mingho. Escape dash. As soon as Chen Mingho died, no matter how angry Chen Zhouxiao was, he knew that he could not change anything, so he immediately chose to run away, for fear that if he continued to stay, he would end up here. As a strong man of the three paths, even if he is following a dilapidated path, he still cannot be underestimated. At least, the stagnant nature of Feng Qingyang's time sword way has almost no effect on the opponent. That is the level difference of the Hadao road. The three paths have natural pressure on the second path, so that Feng Qingyang has difficulty limiting his speed. In this case, even if Duan Lingtian was stronger than the opponent, he still could not intercept the opponent. It's a pity that he ran away. Feng Qingyang sighed, a little regretful. Duan Lingtian had already expected it, and smiled calmly and said, "After all, he is a strong man of the three realms, so it is normal that he cannot be kept. If you want to kill him, I'm afraid I need master to combine the three ways, or I need to combine the four ways." Hearing this, Feng Qingyang said angrily, "Then I must join the third path first." That's not necessarily the case. Duan Lingtian smiled even brighter. "Master, some time ago, my method of control has made some progress after I controlled the creation life chart and understood the rules. I have already stepped into it. 9th floor. Next I plan to try to see if you can combine the four paths with the help of the creation life chart. 4 ways together. Once you take this step, you will be truly invincible. Even in the world of gods and earth, If all Hadao united to surround and kill Duan Lingtian, they would not be Duan Lingshan's opponent. Of course, even if Duan Lingtian is now, he may not be a match against all the Hadao attacks in the world of gods and earth, but it is not difficult to retreat unscathed. He may even be able to escape with a few powerful Erdeo soldiers at the same time. By to meet their old friend who was on the road to first. Hearing Duan Lingshan's words, Feng Qingyang was speechless for a while, then sighed for a moment and said feebly, "Send me back to the Nirvana heaven. Master, in fact, you can keep the law clone inside, and I will continue to stay in the divine earth world. Don't you want to challenge the powerful Hadao realm in the divine earth world?" Duan Lingtian asked with a smile. Returning to the creation life chart world, the law reappears, and the clone of the law can naturally be condensed again. Let's wait for a while. I'm a little tired now. You're such a tough guy. Feng Qingyang waved her hand and shook her head. When Duan Lingtian heard this, he didn't say anything more and sent his master Feng Qingyang back to the world of creation and destiny. As for him, he rarely goes back in his true form, because there are many clones of him in the creation life chart world, and he can accompany his family at any time. I'll go find some other three-way experts to spar with each other. After killing Chen Mingho, Duan Lingtian felt empty, as if he suddenly had no goals. After all, even Lei Hong and Yun Qingyan, his two old enemies, were dead. Looking around, I haven't thought about it for the time being. Target to target. As for Chen Jiuxiao, wait until the four paths merge into one before going to play with him. Of course, Duan Lingtian also knows that although the other three Hadao experts in the world of gods and earth are stronger than Chen Jiuxiao, their strength is limited and they must not be his opponents. He just wanted to see their methods. When Duan Lingtian went to the forces of several other three-way powerhouses and challenged and defeated them, it naturally caused a great sensation. As the news of his 3-in-1 unity spread, the entire world of gods and earth was shaken and in an uproar. It turns out that the strong man who practiced the infinite swordsmanship who died last time was not Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingshan's three paths merged into one? The one who died must be Chen Mingho. Didn't he advance to Hadao 1,000 years ago? In such a short period of time, the three paths merged into one? You think? Could it be that he also killed Yu Luaha, the owner of the creation life plank? If he did it, the creation life plank must be in his hands now, right? Many people guessed that the fate of creation was in Duan Lingshan's hands, and some were even moved by it, and even thought of uniting with many Hadao people to target Duan Lingtian. However, after all, there was no guarantee that Duan Lingtian would be retained, so in the end he had no choice but to let it go. Another 3,000 years passed, when they saw the vision of the fall of Hadao appearing on the horizon again, and this time it was a strong man of the three paths who died, that is, Chen Jiuxiao, who survived the Wanshanshan family in the past. I couldn't help but feel lucky that I didn't provoke Duan Lingtian to be able to kill Chen Jiuxiao. This Lingtian, isn't it possible that he has combined the four paths? Only when the four paths merge into one can he possibly kill Chen Jiuxiao. At this time, Duan Lingtian didn't even need to show up to show his strength. A group of strong men in the world of gods and earth had already guessed that Duan Lingshan's four ways had merged into one, and he had become the only powerful man of four ways in the world of gods and earth in the contemporary era. Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Jiang Tianzheng and the Eternal Night Divine Monk from the Kuhai Temple. The two of them gathered together and looked at each other with extremely complicated expressions. I really didn't expect he would actually take that step. It's really incredible. Jiang Tianzheng, a strong Taoist from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, let out a long sigh. He never expected that Duan Lingtian could combine the four Taos into one. In the past, when he heard that Duan Lingshan's three realms merged into one, he was shocked enough. Now he felt that he had lived like a dog for so many years and was not even as good as a hair on Duan Lingshan's legs. Yes, in just a few thousand years, he has gone from a little guy who has not yet entered the Hadao to an invincible existence in the world of gods and earth. The Yongye Divine Monk couldn't help but sigh. Since the four paths merged into one, Duan Lingtian has also become more leisurely, spending most of his time accompanying his wife, adding several younger brothers and sisters to Duan Yentian and Duan Siling. It is worth mentioning that his master Feng Qingyang's two wives also became pregnant one after another and gave birth to a son and a daughter. For a while, the two of them were enjoying themselves among their children, and they were so happy that they no longer thought about God and earth. Season Finale. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.